You still don't understand what you're dealing with, do you? A perfect podcast. Its structural perfection is matched only by its cogent analysis.
You admire it.
I admire its purity, its ability to every month be assigned 4 movies belonging to a category, and each week tackle one of those films in the context of that category.
Indeed, that is us, Cinema Forecast. Welcome back, listeners. It is I, your host, Alfredo, with my co-host, Connor.
I'm here.
And here we are in the second installment of Aliens Month.
Yeah.
And this week, we are doing a very appropriately named movie for that category.
Oh yeah, perhaps one of the most iconic Alien movies, if not the most iconic. It's hard to say. Alien.
1979, Ridley Scott, Alien.
A classic, a horror classic, a sci-fi classic.
A horror classic indeed. And one of the things I love about this movie is I think this is my second time seeing it. And the first time seeing it, and then again this time watching it, I was struck by how long it takes, how much time passes before it like fully becomes like a horror film. So much of it is like hanging out. So much like downtime.
Yeah, I mean it's always very tense, and there's a lot of droning. There's a lot of sound design that's kind of like letting you know what type of story this is going to be, and just like, the way things are handled. I mean, the very beginning, pretty soon after we get the shots of space, we get like the alarm going off, the receiving the warning signal as we find out.
Yeah, the transmission.
Yeah, and right from that moment, I think. I mean, and the music itself too is also, we got Jerry Goldsmith composing. He does a great job in this. I recognized his name because he's also the composer for Total Recall, and I really like that soundtrack. He got a big profile though. I was surprised to see. He did the music for Mulan, but not the songs, which is why I was singing Mulan before we started.
Word. So, what do you remember about your first time watching this movie?
Oh, this is one that kind of feels like it's been part of my life. Actually, you know what? I think it was our good friend Ryan Kessner who showed it to me when I was a teenager. I think we watched it in his basement, if I recall, and I thought it was awesome. I've watched it quite a few times since then. I don't know how many times I've seen it. I think what I was saying to you last week, briefly mentioning this episode, is that I always remember the first act being my favorite part, and then thinking the rest of the movie is really good. And so what you were talking about with that like slow burn to the horror part, that part is so effective to me, so immersive. But the horror part, especially on this watch, I think is extremely well done too. I have like some small nitpicks here and there, but this movie's amazing.
Yeah, really good movie. The first time I watched it, I was in film school. I believe we're looking 2017, 2018, roughly. My friend Alex Harnish, we were talking about it, and it came up that I hadn't seen it, and he was like, you got to check it out. And I think he either like let me borrow it, or it was just the recommendation, then I went and like streamed it. But I remember watching it and being like super, super into it. I love it. Like, especially like someone who is taking a lot of interest in cinematography, in the way that light and dark is used like in a film. I really loved this as an example for that. So many really moody shots of the spaceship, so much of that providing this really awesome atmosphere, the smoke and how the like light plays through it, all of that shit immediately I was super taken by. And of course, like a great use of like practical effects throughout in like a really fun way. There's I think maybe like 2 spots in the movie where I'm like a little like I disconnect slightly from the story because of how it looks. But we'll get to
those same 2 moments.
We'll get to those when we get to them. But overall, also just like very taut storytelling. I love, again, we've talked a lot about like casts and like ensemble casts and distinct personalities. And this movie, I think that's one of the things that I really fondly remembered about it, is that it is this like fun like crew of people, like, and it's like very easy from the beginning. It tells you like, on the opening thing, it says there's a crew of 7, and they're all such distinct people,
Yep.
all with roles to complete to make this like whole endeavor work.
Yeah, we've had quite a few ensemble cast movies on our journey, Alfredo, and I've really enjoyed this type of setup a lot, this type of cast. One of the things I love about this movie is that it doesn't really make it clear that Ripley is the protagonist until like maybe halfway through, or even then, it's hard to say.
Yeah, they're all like there's a lot of strong personalities. Like even yeah, I mean, first of all, I just want to shout out Veronica Cartwright is back from Invasion of the Body Snatchers. I want to say right off the rip, I was watching this and I was thinking this looks so fucking good
Yes.
compared to Invasion of the Body
Oh,
Snatchers,
yeah.
which looks like is the year before but looks much older. And I think it was I see that it was like blown up to like a 70 millimeters. I don't know if it was. It seems like it was originally filmed in 35. I think it's just maybe the like. Yeah, I don't know if it's the kind of film that they're using, but wow,
Mm,
I was like this. The look of this, the grain of the film, all of that is like. That was
yeah.
also shit I just had like a huge boner for the first time I watched it.
Yeah. And I don't think we've shouted out the sets yet, which just, oh my God, the sets in this are absolutely some of the best I've ever seen. It's one of the best looking ships like ever in sci-fi, I think.
Yeah, I love it. We like I think a lot of people like to talk about lived in aspects of like sci-fi worlds, and this one is like such a prime example of that. Like we've got this and then later on in the same sort of like universe we have Blade Runner like kind of
Yeah.
like weirdly but this
Which is
yeah.
very, very interesting. So this is way after Blade Runner.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what the timeline is, but cuz there is Wayland Yutani. I think maybe
Yeah.
it's yeah.
Because Blade Runner, I think, is like supposed to be like 2019
Right.
or 2029. I forget.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
But I do want to shout out since you were saying it. Cinematographer Derek Van Lint. We already shouted out the composer Jerry Goldsmith. The production designers Michael Seymour, and then on art direction Roger Christian and Leslie Dilley. And then as specifics of the art department, we have H.R. Giger himself,
Yes.
who
Yes.
did the design for the Alien. And then what I like is that there's also a credit. Oh man, I think I saw it in the credits. Maybe I won't see it here. But there's someone who did like the movement. That was like their whole like sort of thing. That they were
Interesting.
like in charge of the movement of the little head.
Oh,
of
I
the
love that.
alien.
I think
Yeah.
I've heard this before. That's
Yeah.
so good.
And then in the sound department, it looks like let's see. I have a hard time sometimes figuring out who. Ben Burt did some sound design on this.
Great sound design. Amazing. I mean, it's so much of the movie is just silent
You
tension.
remember Ben Burt, right?
No.
Ben Burt we have seen in he did Star Wars
Oh, wow.
originally, and
Great.
then what else did we see him in? We saw him in something else.
So, I mean,
recently.
iconic sound designer. I mean, Star Wars alone has just, sound effects that have been used over and over for the last, 70 years.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and it sounds fucking sick. It sounds really all this. I kept noting so often. I'm like, the sounds in this fucking movie are so awesome. All the little sounds of the ships. He also did Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Oh,
Remember his?
okay.
He used his own kid's like heartbeat in the ultrasound.
Love that. Yeah, sorry. And also I said 70 years, 50 years. Yeah, and themes for the month.
Yeah, hit those themes. Actually, before you hit those themes, I want to shout out Walter Hill. He's one of the producers on this like film series, and he is also a writer and director. He is responsible for The Warriors, 48 Hours, and Streets of Fire, and he also directed episodes of Tales from the Crypt and Deadwood.
That's awesome.
Yeah, fucking real badass.
Nice. Love it. So themes for the month of aliens. We got fear of the unknown, the hubris of man, wonder of the universe, mankind as a collective. Those are the 4 themes I threw out there. In terms of fear of the unknown, I mean, this is the embodiment of fear of the unknown. The hubris of man is an interesting one. There's so many interesting themes in this movie about capitalism, the working class, the way that the military just wants to use this as a weapon and the people are expendable. There's definitely some hubris of man in there. Wonder of the universe. I mean, how could you not be filled with wonder looking at the ship for the first time, going inside there, mind blowing stuff.
Yeah, for sure. I think all of these things are like touched on, but there is like also in here like this big aspect of like survival, right?
Oh yeah,
Like, survival and like also the idea. I love this in this movie, the exploration of like we are not the ultimate like form necessarily,
yeah,
right? Like there's this thing out there that's like specifically designed to fucking like
yeah,
and as we teased in the fucking opener, like it is this like this almost admirable level of survival that it
mm-hmm.
like exhibits.
Yeah. It was very Lovecraftian, which came up a lot in our desert and aquatic movies. Um, I think I think space fits very well into the desert aquatic openness and the isolation and horror you can feel from that.
Yeah, and like the unknown and like the beasts from the unknown that can come to like fucking swallow you whole, sandworms, fucking freaky fish that you use yourself as bait to catch and then eat.
Wow. Really
Just-
taking me back.
Yeah, dude. Take a seat, dude. Take a seat in the Wayback Machine. Let's roll her back. I really love the opening fucking credits of
Yeah.
this. It's really well done with like the title slowly being formed as we're seeing like all of like the cast and a lot of like the crew like rolling right up front. And I loved it. It's like there's this slow building. There's already tension in the movie. The music is so fucking the dissonant strings, and there's all these awesome flutes. And there's these really cool parts where like the flutes are all like dainty and kind of like curious, like
Yeah.
doo, doo, doo.
Yeah,
And
it does
underneath
have
the
that
strings
kind of,
are all like and like fucking super tense. It's
yeah.
this really sick juxtaposition.
It's something that it reminds me of John Williams in Jaws a little bit. Some of that like tension, but yet playful and full of wonder. Like as you're exploring the ocean, but underneath is this sinister tone. And I was really struck by having just watched The Thing, how much The Thing was inspired by this movie, and opening shot to a lot of the slow burn setup to I think there's a specific sequence later. Oh yeah, when they're asking the computer chance of survival and stuff, like some definite straight homages, which was fun to see.
Yeah, and I love the way as like the title comes up, the like ship slowly fades into view, and we get commercial towing vehicle, the Nostromo. Like I said before, crew of 7, and they're carrying their cargo is a refinery processing 20 million tons of mineral ore.
Yeah, which is super cool.
And we get those sick humming sounds that
Yeah.
we've been talking about.
In the
right from the
amazing
beginning.
miniature, I'm assuming that's a miniature.
Yeah, the ship looks really sick.
Yeah.
I love the look of it. I love Star Wars, but like I'm like so used to Star Wars that when I watch it, I'm like, oh, this is cool. I love the Millennium Falcon. It looks great. But then I see like other spaceships, and I'm like, I kind of like this better.
Well, this is very moody. This is very like fitting the dark industrial tone they're going for.
Yeah, it's great. I love that aspect of it. Very good shit.
Yeah, some of the amazing camera work here too is it's just like really showing off the sets.
All the handheld stuff, Ridley Scott did himself actually.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, there's a lot of these like handheld shots.
I noticed.
And like
Yeah.
we start off with the very empty, isolated hallways.
Yeah.
Very cool. I really like it because like it's mirrored later on, like in a really awesome scene. And yeah, just like this feeling of like already like. Even though they're just like in cryo sleep, like you're like thrown off because you're like, what's going on, right? Like,
Yeah.
what's going on the ship? Is this like abandoned? What's happening, right? Like,
And then you get the receiving of the alert, and then it's kind of like this push in on their door. And I remember there's a really cool shot of watching the black fade to light in this room, and then you can see the people in there, and they start opening up one at a time, and the first one to come out is the first one to die. I noticed this time.
yeah, for sure. No, I thought it was really beautifully timed. Like, I do love the way that the camera like moves to that like white door, and like sits on it for a
Yeah.
second. It opens. The room is dark, as you're saying, and as the lights slowly come on, like the fucking pods all open together with the lights being turned on.
Yeah, there's a really like good slow burn tension in this first act that I think is like kind of perfect. I will say in the second and third act, maybe it's just the second act, there was a few too much slow burning stuff. Like it worked so well for setting up the movie for me, but a little less so when I felt like the story should have more pace to it. And part of that might be from just watching The Thing, which is so go 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 after a certain point.
Word, yeah. I think I don't feel that as much. I don't really feel it at all. Like I think for me the flow of it feels pretty on point. Like I think the moments I just feel the tension. Like once it becomes like this sort of like fully like monster movie trapped on the ship with it.
Yeah,
I'm still super on board. I do love the beginning a lot. I love it a lot, and I think my love of the interactions with the characters carries through because I like to see the way that the way that they interact with one another, how that sort of changes and how they respond
yeah,
in the face of like having to survive this like brutal creature's assault.
totally.
And I really love like when the fucking pods open, there's all this weird overlapping breathing and sleeping sounds and like even like some light snoring. It's like so like such a cool touch. Like so not total like not anything you would think is like necessary, but like what like a creative touch to have that. And then that's like there's so much of this like overlapping shit because in the next scene when they're all like having breakfast, there's
Yeah,
this overlapping chatter, and you can
yeah,
tell that like nothing that they're saying is really that important because as soon as like the important piece of dialogue starts, it is like very like obvious, like it right comes up in the sound. Very creative use of like sound mixing in this, like right off the bat.
yeah. I think yeah, it's a big part of what makes this movie work so well for sure. I love the shot that like circles all around the table, like really letting you take in everything that's going on. And you make a good point about all the overlapping conversation. And that's something I think, having watched quite a few older movies lately, I get this sense that they felt like they could do naturalistic kind of clattering dialogue more often than modern movies. Do you feel the same way?
I think it depends on where we're what realm we're looking at. Like major studio film productions, it
Yeah.
feels like it's not it's not something that's done as much. And I think it also perhaps has to do with the like fidelity of the recording instruments that we have these days as well. But I think if you were to look at maybe more indie productions that you might see maybe more of this kind of stuff. But I do love it. I think it's really cool.
Yeah,
I
me
think it's
too.
a very awesome sort of like tool to like cuz by doing that, I think maybe it can be overwhelming especially for, some people do have
Yeah,
like, don't like to be overwhelmed in that way with like audio. But I really love the way that it makes you focus in on the things that are like, like I said, like when they start talking and like the sound kind of comes up and then it becomes like individual dialogue mixing versus this more naturalistic like the murmur of a restaurant sort of vibe.
totally. I think, yeah, it's just a very immersive move. And one of the things I really love about this movie and the setup of this whole story is that we don't have a lot of sci fi stories that are just like working class people doing their job in space. Like these are just like, the equivalent of like truck drivers in our time, or like maybe a ship crossing the ocean, right? Like a trading vessel. Um and
Ice road truckers.
yeah, and so that kind of gives you a totally different perspective, and I think this kind of dropping you into the gang, like it has a similar thing as The Thing, right? This kind of hangout vibe to
Yeah,
it.
absolutely. No, it's so good the way that it does it because like it is just like, oh wow, they're all like awaking, like they're well, we don't watch them all awake from cryosleep. We just watch Kane's character awake, but like the rest, and then how it like fades into them like all hanging out, and it's just dropping you in, and you almost feel like you're the eighth member of the Nostromo, like, and very quickly. with all these shorthands, be they like through performance or through like visual things. We get a pretty like quick sense of like how things are. I think this is even the first time they talk about well, there's a very funny line too where I think Parker says to Kane, "Anybody ever tell you look dead, man?" And like he's the first one who's gonna die, so some fun little foreshadowing. And then they start talking about the bonus situation, which is
Yeah.
a big part of I think this like sort of capitalistic and like hierarchical society aspect of this movie, because we learn that like Parker and Brett don't get as much of a like stake than the other members of the expedition. And it seems like because they're like repairmen or something like that, like a position that like a maintenance person that's like position that is like often traditionally looked down upon and not as respected as say a science officer or the captain of the ship or whatever the hell the rest of them their specific positions are, you know. Uh but I love that gets brought up repeatedly.
Yeah, no, it's a big theme. All the way up to the realization that the company gave the order to basically like kill the crew in order to get this organic life, or at the very least didn't care if the crew died.
Yeah, exactly. Like their survival is secondary to retrieving the organism.
Yeah, definitely a theme in the second movie as well. I have not seen the others. Have you, which ones have you seen?
I saw Prometheus. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
I saw that one. I also saw Alien versus Predator.
Yep, seen
I
that
think I
one.
might have seen both of them.
Oh yeah, I think I did too.
And
Not
then
great.
I also have seen the first one I thought I ever saw. I think was the David Fincher one, which is I believe is Alien Resurrection or maybe like
Mm.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what it was called, but that I watched that when I was very very young and like do not really remember anything about it. And then yeah, Alien and Aliens.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I mean it's such an expansive world in lore that I wish I had more context of what everything was. But also I love how mysterious and unknown this movie is in a black box. Right? Like
Yeah.
not knowing what the alien is. Like I have more of an idea of the origins of this species and stuff, but I kind of like not knowing more,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
especially for the tone of this
Yeah, yeah,
movie.
no, I totally agree. It's good to have this like air of mystery about it, to have this like yeah, it's an unfathomable horror,
Yeah.
right? Like and I think that's so compelling like with to attach that to space, the final frontier, dare I say. Uh and then we have there's the yellow light for Dallas, right? For the captain's eyes only, and
Yeah.
it is signaling that Mother wants to speak with him.
Right. And I love the whole concept of mother.
Yeah, Mother's cool. Mother's a very interesting concept, like this AI that like oversees the function of the ship. It feels like,
Yeah.
and also serves almost like the like boss of the commanding officer in a way.
Yeah, like giving directions from the company while being a servant to the crew. Very interesting. And just the name mother just makes it creepy to me for some
Oh, so many. It makes so many of the lines so much fun later on in the movie, where they're like, fucking like, oh, to tell Mother, or like, when she's screaming like Mother, like, it's so fucking good. It makes it so much more impactful, like in its fucking
Yeah,
horror.
it's great. I love it.
And I love the way that later on, when she is the one who acts as his mother, completely mirrored shot of like what Dallas does. It's really great.
Hmm.
Good stuff. So we get this like setup. I love all the process shots of this too, of him getting in, him typing on the keyboard.
Yeah,
We
the
have a
set
bunch
of
of
this
really
room
cool like
too.
insert. We've already had so many awesome inserts of like screens with different like data, and like I love how some of them are incomprehensible, but some of them you do kind of feel like you're like, ooh, I'm like there's like something wrong going on here, right? So then when they ultimately find out, because they're all trying to figure out where's Earth, right? Because they thought that they're back home. Like you kind of already have in your mind that there's something going on here that isn't quite right, right? That is not the like what the plan was.
Yeah, I love that whole setup of them thinking they're and some of them don't believe it. Ripley's the one who's like calling it out like no, we're not near Earth.
It's
Uh,
not our
and
system.
I think Lambert is like, no, we're right there. Like this kind of hope that they're so close to home, really adds to the whole tragedy and horror of the situation as they slowly realize their doom, basically.
Yeah. And they find out they haven't reached the outer rim. They're trying to reach the Antarctica traffic control, but they're not able to get through. Um, and they're like, "What the fuck are we doing here?" And I want to say I love the buddy fucking Brett and Parker, fucking Harry Dean Stanton and Yaphet Kotto, absolute fucking legends. Harry Dean Stanton, he has been in so many fucking movies, and if you have not seen Paris, Texas, do yourself a fucking favor and allot yourself some time to feel some very deep sadness and check that movie out. It is so fucking good. And to see him in like a starring role when you often see him in all these sort of like supporting roles like across the decades, it's really fucking cool. I like it a lot. He's a really fucking good actor.
Hell yeah.
R.I.P. dude. Rest in peace, Harry Dean Stanton.
Pour one out. The miniatures and the sets, I have in exclamation points here. What is this next scene? Where do we get a lot of miniatures? Is this
We're getting I think I don't know, maybe when they're I don't quite remember. I would see I know that they're looking to see if they know where they are, and then we get Bren Parker like I think down in like a maintenance, maybe doing maintenance or something like that somewhere. And then we go to all of them sitting around the table where Dallas is telling them that like Mother has stopped them halfway on their course home.
Yeah.
They're going to check out a signal that's repeating every 12 seconds. They're not sure if it's an SOS, which I love that it's immediately brought up. He's like, Kane asks, SOS? And Dallas is like, we're not sure,
Yeah, the writing of the language is so good too. Just like I wrote down so many quotes throughout it. Intercepted transmission of unknown origin. Like,
Yes.
it sounds so right.
All the technical jargon is really well done, like really well thought out, like the way that they write it, like because there's this practicality to it, but it also is like very believable in being this futuristic sort of thing,
Totally.
And I love again, it's Yaphet Kotto, fucking Parker bringing up
The bonus
let's
situation.
talk about the bonus situation.
Yeah.
And then they're telling him, hey man, like we have to go investigate. And Kane, you can see Kane has this big sense of obligation. He's like, no, we have to go check it out. And he's like, I don't know, man, maybe let's talk about like a full like stake. And then they're like, dude, you'll forfeit your money if you don't go. Like if you don't come and help us check this out.
There's a clause in the agreement that they are required to check SOS signals, I believe.
Yeah, I think it's something that was derived after the initial when they first put into effect the Santa Claus. Then this one came sometime after that,
Zing. Flying towards the planet looks great. It's got like
the approach is so
rings.
ominous.
Yeah.
Ominous.
The way the ship looks breaking off from the larger ship, amazing.
Yeah, I love that, and like a good line here, umbilicus clear.
Yeah, it looks so
That's
good.
very believable, right?
Yeah.
Like for language for that sort of like umbilical thing holding the shuttle.
Right. And this landing sequence is so extended and full of tension, and I just love the weight they put to every step of this first act leading. Like it's so every step forward is just like, all right, this is meticulous, intense. Things are going wrong like while they're landing. You get the lights start blinking. They've sustained some damage. The smoke, they're shooting smoke everywhere. Basically the ship immediately gets busted. Oh, and just all the little like you were talking about, all the screen displays showing
that's all so fun.
Yeah, it's great.
I also like one of the things I noted, and I mentioned this earlier, is just everyone has a role to fill, and they are like filling these different roles in the procedure of the landing.
Yeah.
The landing is pretty much like a 7-person task, which I kind of love that there's this level of like like all of the crew being involved, everybody, different people monitoring different things, like while like the maneuver is trying to be executed.
Yeah, it's great.
And it's so fucking fun. Like I think it like it like emphasizes and really reinforces that idea of like this crew, this group of people, and again, you kind of feeling you're the eighth member of the Nostromo,
Yeah.
watching everyone like do their fucking thing.
Yep.
And then we get this fun thing about like how they're asking Parker and Brett how long until we're functional, and Brett says tell her like 17 hours, and he goes at least 25 hours.
Yes, I noted this moment as well because I again love just like the casual vibe. Like how many sci-fi stories do you see where it's not like life or death? This is just like a day in the job for them, right? And they're acting so casual about it. And
They're
it's like
they're
and
like dudes.
Yeah,
they're just like fucking dudes.
they're just hanging out. They're like, oh yeah, it's gonna take a little longer. Hey, how about that bonus? You know, it's like
Even
so
the
casual.
dialogue, the fucking dialogue is not this like the choice for very like naturalistic sort of performances. Like they feel like people of their like that could exist in the 70s and the 80s 90s in our time, you know. So I think that like those aspects really make it so easy to connect with them.
Yeah. Mother says the sun's coming up in 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's
Ash
pretty,
trying to be like a little cheerful.
yeah, pretty creepy.
Ash
I do
is
like
so creepy from the
is.
start.
I do like Ripley's though saying after they say the 25 hours thing, she's like, I'm gonna come down there myself. Like I'm gonna oversee these repairs closely.
Every line you get of Ripley, she's so badass. The
She's
entire movie.
very capable.
Yeah.
Set up to be very capable from the very beginning.
Yeah, so on top of her shit, so focused on the situation, but also like has moments of great levity and vulnerability. And I love how much of the movie is her running away. She's not the Kurt Russell in The Thing, like, we're gonna fucking kill it. She's like, get me the fuck out of here.
Yeah, it's very realistic, and the heroism is like very well earned in this film, I would say.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and we have, you know, any response yet? Say nope, same transmission every 12 seconds, you know. And this is another time I noted there's so much downtime in this movie, you know. Like, and this is when they're talking about he mentions that Mother says that the sun is going to come up. The transmission is 2,000 meters away, and they're asking, is it walking distance? This is mainly like I think Kane, Lambert, Dallas, and Ash talking about this. And I like, again, Kane is like, I'll be like on the first party to go like check it out, you know, like immediately volunteering. And it's so interesting, like how he's the first to wake. He's the first one to want to, you know, step out and help or figure out what this is, or like go like volunteer. And he's the first one that ultimately dies, right?
A little bit too much wonder for space to cover one of our themes. Just a little too eager to see what's inside this egg, I would say.
Yeah, no,
Beyond
for
a rational
yeah,
point.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was pretty wild. I definitely noted that. I was like, this is kind of crazy behavior here, Kane.
There was this one moment coming up here where Ash is getting ready to do
He's
something.
like running in place.
Yes, and this is a first tell that something's seriously wrong with him, and I love this little moment because if it's your first time seeing it, you're like, oh, that was kind of weird, and then forget about it.
It feels like a quirky thing that like a real human might do. Like, I'm gonna get my psych myself up to like, you know, get mission ready.
The jerkiness and the speed of it, like knowing what he is, really is foreshadowed here.
Yeah, no, I thought so too. I thought there is this like, yes, the jerkiness, especially the way that he malfunctions later.
Yeah,
it definitely feels like a call forward.
Yeah, it's some good stuff. It's such good foreshadowing that you only could pick up if you were like, if you know what he is, right? Because you're not expecting him to be a robot in any other circumstance, especially if you're seeing this movie in 1979, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I wouldn't expect. I don't think I even expected it the first time I watched it, because despite it having been out for so long, I had avoided that sort of spoiler.
Yeah, I don't think I saw it coming either. I mean, it's a good twist.
Yeah. The storm when they go out there, it looks fucking terrifying, dude.
Yes, just leaving the ship looks so epic. Everything.
The spacesuits, again with
That
all
looks
the
so
production
good.
design and all that shit. Like the spacesuits, I really love. They
It's
feel so
perfect.
practical. That's the thing
Yeah.
too. That's the name of the game. We're not doing pretty or sleek. We're doing practical, industrial. Like let's show the function. It's so much about function and so little about form.
Do you think we've lost anything with like camera lens clarity just in terms of capturing something that's more gross and like gritty like this? Like the like the horror and wonder of it. Like I feel like a lot of more, from the scenes I've seen of the more modern alien movies, it's so like pristine and crisp. And I like you were talking about at the beginning, just like how grainy and lived in and naturalistic the world
Well,
feels in
it's
this
like
movie.
it's not just grain; it's a fine grain as well.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that struck me about it compared to Invasion of the Body Snatchers. There's a richness to the color as well. I mean, look, digital filmmaking. I'm not gonna poo-poo it. It is like so much more convenient, and it's just like much more affordable, and it's the way that things really like honestly go these days.
Yeah. As
But
we
I
learn in Boogie Nights, this is a plot point.
but I think that like there is something to that choice for this movie to be like, no, we're doing this in film, like on film. Like I think that if I wanted to make like a gritty sci-fi movie now, I would try to push for that. But again, digital isn't horrible. I mean, you can do some very cool stuff in post, and you can give it like a little bit of a grittier look. It's always better when it's the film itself. But yeah, I
Maybe a lot of that is the sound design I'm thinking of too is just so good because I'm thinking about them just like walking through the storm towards the ship and like what about that evokes the horror of this planet so well compared to what
yeah.
feels so like safe and clean in a lot of other like sci-fi films.
Yeah, for sure. I'm trying to think because one of the what they did with Dune. Remember, they ran it. Yeah, they like printed it onto film and then they like scanned that to give it like some grain. The Denis Villeneuve one. So that's also like a potential thing. But yeah, I think like what you're saying is so true. Like it just matches the vibe and the moment. And again, it's just like an example of like intentional filmmaking. I mean, it's all that was really available to them
Yeah.
at the time. But I think the kind of cameras that they used and stuff and the lighting, all of that playing together with the filmic look is fucking exquisite.
Yeah.
I'll say I think this is S tier cinematography.
Yes,
S tier
absolutely.
cinematography
Yeah.
for sure.
And like all the costume set design also I would say is basically immaculate.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All of the art direction in this and yeah, the set design, all of the production design, S tier fucking shit.
Yep. 100%. Pretty soon here we get our first shot of Jonesy, I think, just like sitting down cleaning himself. Good old Jonesy, rooting for him the whole movie. He's just a fun character to have like just weaving through the story in
Yeah.
really important moments.
For sure. Before we see Jonesy for the first time, there is a really funny line that I like that Lambert is complaining, I can't see a goddamn thing, and Kane says, "Quit griping," and she says, "I like griping," and it just like it is like again, it's a funny little like sort of line, but it kind of shows their character a lot. Like Kane is this very like he is very driven by his sense of oh my god, what's that word? I can't think of it. His sense of obligation, his sense of like
Duty.
duty. Duty is the word. He's driven by a sense of duty.
Yeah.
And she is kind of like, let's get the fuck out of here. Let's get this over with. I don't want to be here. I'm so fucking done with this.
Yeah, Lambert is a great character because I think she's very realistic, but damn, I wish she had one moment where she kind of like showed up for real, because the whole movie she's just kind of like, collapsing.
Yeah, it is very interesting that we have two female characters in this movie out of the 7, and one is completely paralyzed into inaction, which feels very relatable if I'm being honest.
Oh yeah.
In this situation.
I could very easily see me being Lambert. You don't want to see yourself being Lambert. I'd like to think, I'm more someone like Parker. Like, no, let's fucking get this thing. But in the horror of the situation, you're on this planet. You got a bad feeling. What the fuck is this spooky alien ship? Can we just go, guys? Like, I don't like this.
Yeah, let's not fucking do this.
Let's
It's
not
not
fucking
fucking
do
worth
this,
it.
yeah.
It's not worth it at all.
No, it's really not.
But yeah, then when we I do love also that I think the first time we see Jonesy is because Ripley asks Ash, "Have you run the message through the ECIU?" Which I don't know what that means, but it sounds fucking sick.
Oh yeah,
And
it's really cool.
this is, I think, one of the first shots we see of her. I think they're Chucks. I think she's wearing some fucking Converse, some Chuck Taylors.
Hell yeah. We get the ship coming up here pretty soon. I'm pretty sure that's like a really nice matte painting.
Yeah, the storms have like died down.
Yeah.
The respirators are so cool. The sound that they make, and that the fact that they're like gas is like sort of like coming out, like it's purging the CO2 or something like that. I thought that was so cool.
Yeah. And you got Ash kind of like overlooking all of this in a very like calm, cold, collected demeanor as he has throughout most of the movie. Very unsettling.
Yeah.
Ash is like very thematic, I think, to kind of the the messages of the uncaring, overseeing corporation, right?
Yeah, he is the representation of the corporate overlords, and definitely like feels like this very fucking threatening like presence
Ominous,
to him. Yeah, very ominous. But I love the sequence where we have him watching and sort of monitoring, and them. Well, also there's like a sick like you see this ringed planet, and I was like, is that supposed to be Saturn? Like I don't think like is it like I don't think so because they're not even there in their system.
At some point they say it'll be like 10 months back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's this ringed planet in the distance, and it looks so fucking sick. But then we get only sort of like Ash's perspective with all like the of the screen that's being distorted, and all of the sound is very like jumbled, and then we start to see them walking up to the crash. When we finally switch over to them and they like walk into it, and it has this like disturbingly organic sort of look, like it's like a ship made of bones.
I think Giger came up with this design as well, if I'm not mistaken.
These are, I think, many of you film heads out there have probably heard of the documentary about Jodorowsky's Dune.
Yeah.
The greatest movie to never be made, and a lot of the stuff used that was. Like, there was the big art book that was made for that, and part of that sort of those ideas for the art direction of his Dune adaptation were used in this film.
Yeah, so cool.
Yeah, very cool. I think a lot of the people who worked on this movie were going to work on that movie as well. It is really cool little like thread. Have you seen that documentary that Jodorowsky's
just
doing?
clips of it, and I've heard it talked about a lot.
It's really good. Like it's really fun to see how all of these people sort of like spread throughout Hollywood and like contributed parts of that film and their expertise in that way, and how there's all these
great.
little pieces in all these movies.
Yeah, I should watch that for sure. Yeah, and when they get to the ship, there's this zoom in, I think, from Ash's perspective on the camera, and you just hear Lambert, "Let's get out of here." And I'm with Lambert, dude. Let's get out of here. Fuck this. We are not paid enough to be exploring an alien ship, right? Because they can tell it's an alien ship. Like,
no, it's fucking wild. It is also like speaks to like have people found other alien like
I think
ships?
Well, that's a great question. I was thinking about it. Is this the first alien encounter? But then there's a line from Ash later saying, we've never found an organism of this like, which
exactly.
Sounds
That's
very
what
much
I was
like,
thinking.
Yeah, we've found other alien life, but have we found intelligent alien life?
Right. No, I'm thinking that they probably found like
I don't know.
maybe perhaps like microorganisms. I don't know, but then like the fact that I feel like you see an alien ship, you should probably like quarantine it, mark its location, and then send like a science team to go explore it. Not these fucking space truckers, as you said.
Yeah, this is crazy to do this, and I would totally be the one like, well, I don't know. Maybe I would just be like, well, this is pretty cool. I'm definitely not going up to those fucking eggs.
Yeah, I know.
I think as soon as I see the eggs, I'm like, oh, there's probably a mama around here. I'm gonna get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, but it's also been like abandoned for. I think it seems like it's been abandoned for a while, right?
Oh, so unsettling.
Well, because they find the huge skeleton,
Yeah.
and it's this alien life form. What's wild is they find two different aliens in this movie.
Yeah, I think he does have a name in the script, and I think he comes up in the Prometheus storylines, if I'm not mistaken. I think he might be called the like astronomer or something like that.
Yeah, but he's all like fossilized.
Yeah,
And
very
it
cool.
looked like and they say that it looks like he's growing out of the chair.
Yeah, it's so
which makes you
cool.
think, is it a biological thing where he like interfaces with it with his like actual body? Like,
Oh my god.
because dude, like I said, it looks like fucking, there's like the ship is made of like rib cages on the inside.
So cool.
Yeah, and then we get that the bones are bent outward, like something
Yeah.
like exploded from the inside.
Yes, which begs the question, it's just another like beautiful thing in this movie that's so mysterious and covered in shadows of like, well, what got out of this thing? We know what the human xenomorphs, as they'll later be termed, are, but like what is the astrologer or astronomers?
Right, the way that they interface with other species.
Yeah.
And I love that Dallas and Lambert are the ones looking at this. Kane is off looking at something else, and this is what we hear Lambert say. As soon as like they see this, she's like, "Let's get the hell out of here." And then again, another contrast. Kane is like, "Look at this hole I found. Come on over, guys." Like calls him over to his like, "Check out this weird hole.
Yeah.
There's cool shit in this weird hole." And then we cut back to Ripley
Yeah.
saying that it's not an SOS warning.
Yeah.
It is it's not an SOS,
It
it's a
looks
warning.
yeah, it looks like a warning.
Yeah. And Ripley wants to go after them, and Ash is like, "What's the point? By the time like you get there, they're gonna know that it's a warning," which is such like a fucking fucked up thing to say. But also, I just kind of love being like, I mean, come on, if there's danger, like they'd probably know by now, right? Like,
Yeah. Well, I think he just says that they'll be back by the time you reach them or something like that.
he says by the time you get there, they'll know whether or not it's a warning.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, Ash sucks.
It's a fucked up thing to say.
Ash sucks.
It's funny though. I
It-
kind of love that he's like, you don't go out there.
And it worked too. She's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, surprisingly so, because she's pretty strong-willed.
Yeah, but like I said, she is not like a hero necessarily, which I like that about her. Like she's willing to do what it takes, but we see very quickly here that, you know, I love this whole moment of them coming back. Well, we'll get there in a minute, but when they come back, the way she deals with that situation, I think, is so good.
Yeah, for sure. No, I love that. I love that because I'm like, somebody needs to fucking say this. Like, somebody has to. If nobody does, it feels kind of like, okay, like I get it. Like the enemy of the nitpick is fun, but like, let's put a little bit of thought into it. And I like how it ultimately resolves with Ash like opening it, and then we get the cool scene later on where they have the whole back and forth talking about like, why did you do that, right?
Yeah, so good.
But yeah, we get ultimately to the eggs. I love him like slowly being lowered into it. Again, great play of light and dark, little chiaroscuro situation, and the fucking like so moody and so alien, right? Like the construction of because we've been so thoroughly presented with the construction of like a human ship because we've seen those corridors. And so when he's lowered into that big chamber, it's just like, what the fuck is this place?
Yeah, I love it. It looks so alien.
So very alien.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's perfect. It's amazing. It's top tier.
And then the shots of the fucking with the egg where he's like, you see the light shining through it,
Yeah.
and it's like stirring.
So creepy
Oh
and
my
biological
God.
looking. And
I would have immediately backed the fuck up.
So yeah, he has this line when he's walking down there, like, it's like a leathery something. It's like eggs or something. Like he
Yeah.
even calls them eggs, and it's like,
Yeah.
bro, what are you doing? You are not getting paid enough for this.
Yeah, he mentions the chamber is completely enclosed.
Yeah.
When he says that it's full of leathery objects, eggs or something. He also says something really funny when they're lowering him in. He says, they're like, "Can you see anything?" And he says, It's a cave. It's like the goddamn tropics in here.
Yeah, and there's this really interesting detail that I didn't notice until this time. A mist covering the eggs that reacts when broken.
Yes.
This is so interesting.
Very cool.
So is this how the eggs sense when people are around and when it should open? Is that kind of what it's suggesting here? Or is it just like unknown?
I wonder. I also wonder if perhaps it was like a last minute like defense deployed to like contain the eggs by the ship.
Hmm.
I do like because I thought about it both ways. I was like, is that from the eggs or is that something to contain the eggs? Because the way that it like reacts to this, because whoever was there and was killed by this had the time to write like a message, right? Or like make a transmission. So do they have time to deploy some sort of containment measure of some sort?
Yeah. What the fuck were they doing with these eggs? I guess I should watch those prequels.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there's eggs in the other ones.
Well, I think doesn't it tell you what happens here at a certain point?
I think sure. I don't know if I've seen that one.
Okay. No, we should watch
Which
those.
one is that one?
It might be the sequel to Prometheus.
Which one's that one?
I don't forget.
Is that Romulus? That's not the sequel to Romulus.
That's like a reboot.
Right. A full-on reboot?
Not full on, but like its own thing, basically.
Oh, okay. So not a reboot.
I think there was pitches of it being a reboot. I don't know. Don't quote me here. I'm obviously not the Aliens guy. I haven't seen most of these.
Obviously not the aliens guy.
I want to watch these though.
Yeah. And then the fucking face hugger, dude.
Yeah, fucking face hugs the shit out of
This is
Kane.
a fucking iconic.
I mean, it
movie
looks
monster,
so good. It's so horrifying. It's
That's the
perfect,
fun
creepy,
part.
crawly.
That's a fun part about this movie. We don't just have like the xenomorph. We also have the face hugger.
Yeah.
Like
And the chest burster.
yeah, for sure, absolutely, yes. I mean, the chest burster is the xenomorph,
Right.
but like I get what you mean. Like it's a different state of the xenomorph.
Yeah, different design.
Yeah, because I do love the different stages of evolution of it, but I also just love this separate sort of entity, which again I think it is just the xenomorph, maybe as like a tadpole, right?
It's so.
Does it? Okay, so this is a question for you.
Yeah.
Does it like die to lay something in his chest, or is it like a creature that crawled into his mouth and was living inside of him?
That's such a good question.
Because they never scan him after he's better. Like we never see a scan like to see if there's anything inside of him. You would think that they would do something like that, right?
Yeah.
So does that imply it's like a little
I mean,
microscopic
but Ash would have
thing?
been the one to do that, right?
Right, exactly. Which is again another chance of occlusion. How do you conceptualize it though?
That's such a good question. I think to me it makes more sense that it's just this other life form that's purpose is to deliver this egg. Like it's almost like a part of the egg to an extent. But I could see it being some sort of amorphous thing that detaches itself from within. But it's like this is its shell it's detaching
Like
itself
shedding
from.
a whole
I
like
do
body
kind of
into
like
it.
that more. But yeah, I don't know. I wonder what the alien heads say about this.
Yeah, no, I'm sure that this has all been covered in the lore. So people who are listening to this episode who love Alien are probably like, God, these guys are fucking dumb.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Here, let's pause. We'll stop down. We'll pull up the Alien Wikipedia and we'll start answering some of these friggin' questions.
Yeah.
No, just joking.
Yeah, that's a lot of work.
The whole point of podcasting is to be lazy, obviously.
Yes, sir. Oh, one thing I talked about with the thing a lot that I liked was these palette cleansing shots, where it would show the base again, and we get this great. The face hugger jumps, grabs him, horrifying, amazing, and then it just cuts to like the silent droning of the wind passing the ship by. Like it's a much more sinister palette cleanser, but it does let you breathe
Yeah.
after that very tense moment.
For sure. And then we see Ash is waiting for Dallas and Lambert and Kane to get back. Seems like he hasn't gotten any sort of like communication from them. And then we see them we see that appears that Dallas and Lambert are carrying Kane back.
Right.
And this is where we get the back and forth about. Well, actually, so I even wrote down at this point, I was like, they should quarantine this dude. And then immediately Ripley is like, you guys need to quarantine.
Yeah, she's like, this is the procedure. Like, this is how we have to do this. And I love the dynamic that the leader is outside of the ship, and so that Ripley is in charge as second in command.
And then he gives her an order to be
Yeah.
like, I'm ordering you to let me in, and she's like, I hear you, but
I have jurisdiction here, and we're following procedure.
yeah, the answer is negative.
Right. And I love this as a moral quandary because I see both perspectives. We have a man dying out here. Also, this is procedure, and in the super small chance that this is some sort of horrible alien that's going to murder us all, because what are the chances that some accident, she doesn't understand what happened at all, is something that's going to end up getting them all killed? Pretty low based on that piece of evidence. And yet she's right here, her instincts are right.
Yeah, no, I actually I feel like what's also kind of funny to think about is that they're like, no, he's like, we need to help him, he's dying. They don't do anything to help him. Like, they literally would have, if they had quarantined, it would have just disappeared.
I mean, Parker says something multiple times that's very frustrating that isn't pushed harder by anyone, is just freeze him. Freeze him. Wait till we get back. Freeze him.
Yeah, he does suggest that.
He says it multiple times.
Kind of a good suggestion.
It's a great suggestion.
But again, what do we know about how, is it actually going to freeze? Maybe it can it has acid blood. Maybe it can withstand that very cold temperature and it'll develop. I mean, it seems to be okay in space. At that one point when it's ejected from the ship, So I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, it never gets tested in a lot of ways because I keep waiting for someone to use the flamethrower on it. We never see if the flames, what that would have done to it.
Right, for sure. It doesn't, but I mean, you have to think doesn't mind extreme cold because of the
conditions of that planet.
No,
yeah, he said it was human.
the tropics. Yeah. Ooh, interessante. Interessant. Very interesting. Again, and then Ash manually opens the fucking hatch. I love the shot of them cutting the helmet open.
Oh,
it's
my
so
God.
fucking cool. You're like, what is when you fucking see the thing
the way
that's
it's
gone
burned
through the visor
glass,
around his face. You're like, what the fuck has happened here?
Perfect.
And the way that it wraps its tail around your neck.
Yeah.
To prevent people from trying to pull it off your face because it'll just
and all those little fingies clutching onto him.
And it's feeding him oxygen. It's so fucking cool.
It's one of the best monsters ever, I would argue.
And we see that Ash is gonna try and remove one of its digitals.
Yep.
And he's like, finger. And then we get the acid blood. And that's fucking I don't actually, do they do that right here? Where we see that his blood is acid?
I don't think yet. Because
they scan him first.
Yeah.
To see that it's feeding him oxygen.
Yeah.
Because he tries to move the finger and it tightens its grip around his throat.
Parker thinks they should freeze him here. Yeah, that's around. He's shouting through the window, freeze him.
Yeah. Right when they're about to put him in the scanner, they're like, have you guys thought about freezing him? Again, I don't know if freezing him would work. Potentially. I think there's the potential that it might not work.
Maybe. I mean, it needs this incubation for some reason, right? And so it would need the human body to be at a certain condition, I would think. Right? It needs a living, it can't do this on a corpse. So I think if the body's frozen, that would really fuck up its plans. But I don't know. We'd really need to get some alien heads on here.
Yeah, but it is still alive. Yeah. Okay, I see. It's also very interesting because he doesn't need to eat anything. It's like you are just nutrient enough the way you are. But he Yeah, I don't know.
I almost think that if there's any point where it is immune to the cold, it would probably be when it gets its shell.
Right, yeah. When as an adult.
Yeah, because right now it's just like this fleshy little Muppet.
Fleshy little Muppet. I'm a fleshy little Muppet.
Yeah, and Ash keeps saying shit like, let's not be too hasty. When talking about trying to kill it. And he's also right because it's full of acid, but just knowing who he is the whole movie, you're like, oh, Ash, you little punk.
You motherfucker, yeah. You motherfucker. I think one of the weakest performance moments is when the blood starts dripping and melting through stuff. Tom Skerritt as fucking Dallas is running out, and he's he has this funny delivery on when he like starts reading because like, what are you guys doing? Come on, let's go. And like the way he says it just made
Mm,
me laugh so hard. I was like, that's so fucking funny.
right.
It's just like you like I there's a level it was lacking like the level of like gravity. I don't know, it just felt kind of like out of place for a second.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't notice, but I could see that. Um
And then he says that like cuz it slowly stops and he like tests like it on a pen.
yeah.
And he says I've only seen this in molecular acid.
Yeah, which is an interesting line. Uh,
Yep.
I like that he's like, "Here's your pen back," and then it's just a long shot, like a little comedic moment of him just like not sure what to do with his burnt up pen.
Yeah. Again, Harry Dean Stanton, great.
Yeah, and just really setting up like the acid is just such a good touch to this being because if you try to kill this thing, it'll destroy your ship. Is what they're setting up here.
Yeah. It's
Which
pretty fucking wild.
Yeah, like the fact that it could burn through multiple floors of this hull, that's such a strong acid.
Yeah, no, it's so wild. I had I had this thought. I was like, does it melt? It doesn't melt a hole in the hole, right? And then like when it stops, I was like, that's right, okay, that's right. But you could see it because like it goes so far, and I do kind of love like we're getting so much of the geography of the ship shown to us over and over and
Yeah,
over again, and it's still not super comprehensible to me. Like it kind of makes sense them going from one place to another, but there is this sort of like tension of like where are they gonna go next that I think continues throughout the movie.
yeah. There's one thing I find really interesting about Ash because I think after this, yeah, we like the ship is almost fixed up. I think they're like about to take off, or maybe they already do take off, and then
No, not quite yet.
okay,
We just see Brent and Parker are still working on stuff, and then we have Ash studying the creature.
yeah, I have Ash is doing sus science here, and there's something I really pick up on here, which I almost feel like there's almost like a disdain from Ash, like beyond just being a robot. Um, he seems to not like people to me.
Dude, okay, I made a note because I love this scene. This is a really, really awesome, like one of the strongest, like I think two performances,
Yeah,
like in the
it's
film.
a
I
great
love
scene.
the back and forth because Ripley wants to know what it is and he doesn't know what it is, and
You get a nice playful moment with Ripley here too, where she's like looking through the microscope and
yeah, he's like, don't do that. And I also like how he says he's a tough little son of a bitch, and she says, and you let him in, and then she starts
yeah,
grilling
laying
him like,
into him.
why did you go against the scientific like quarantine procedure? And he's like, I was obeying a direct order, and this is where she says, I am like the commanding officer
Yeah, he's
when
a
they're
good
not
cover
on
up
board.
here. He's like, oh yeah, I forgot that detail.
Yeah, but then I love what you're saying about him. His frustration feels so human with her. Like it feels like this like I like that your read was like he's like a robot who doesn't really like people. He's seeing them as like cuz I get that like these disposable tools to reach whatever ends he needs to accomplish his mission. But there's this part of it where I'm like in that moment he feels so human to me the way he's like rolling his eyes at her and just like god fucking damn it, just let me fucking do my job. Like get out of my fucking business.
Yeah.
He's still an asshole. Like I'm not saying I'm like
Oh
even
yeah.
like sympathetic towards him,
No,
but it
yeah.
just feels so like
Human. No, I'm with you. I'm just like I think he's such an interesting robot because
yeah.
he does feel human, and I do feel yeah this kind of like vindictiveness coming from him throughout the movie where it's like you're all going to die and I'm kind of happy about it. Like it's not just like hey sorry this is my mission. It's like also fuck you guys.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know if I picked up so much on the and fuck you guys until like the later part of it. Cause it felt like if they could survive, he was okay with it. But the moment that they're like interfering with trying to kill it, he's like, no, now we're done. Now I need to get rid of you guys so that like I can take the specimen back.
Yeah. There is an interesting moment I meant to call out earlier that I didn't near the beginning before they even land, where Ash is sitting around the table and Parker kind of bullies him and he's like,
You're sitting in my seat.
yeah. And then he kind of like awkwardly gets up and Parker just kind of laughs about it. And I just thought that was
Literally the second scene with the group of them. It's the first,
Yeah.
or no, it's when Dallas is telling them that like that mother like that they're not
Yeah.
on course, right? That they're far away from Earth.
Yeah. And
Like the second round table scene we have of them.
yeah, so just like thinking back on like whether or not he's disdainful, like I'm like maybe there's something there, but I don't know. We'll keep an eye on him.
Yeah, it
Keep an
does.
eye on him throughout the rest.
I did have a little bit of that. Like it does feel like he is kind of like maybe um like not bullied, maybe like mistrusted, and like yeah, there's a lot of points of contention with him and other people that you can see mounting his frustration against humans, right?
Like maybe what you're saying about him being emotional plays into that it is personal to this robot. Like his objectives are first, but he has emotions around all this stuff. So if his objectives are this and you're in the way of his objectives, he is going to be disdainful about it.
Right, because it's I think it is like he is like a fully like autonomous sort of like he is like has his own like form of intelligence like as a robot.
Yeah, yeah, it's always interesting. Like, is this order mandated? Could he defy this order if he chose to, or is it the lore that like no, he is absolutely abiding? Is he a Terminator? You know?
Yeah, and then I love how then we get the turn with is it Bishop in the second one, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And how he is actually like, well, I don't want to spoil it. So let's move on.
yeah.
Um I like this scene of talking about all the hanging out, Dallas sort of like unwinding. And Dallas is an interesting character because we see his sort of like slow descent in like into pure like frustration and getting like very like aggravated and having a hard time dealing with everything.
Yeah,
But at this moment we see him like peacefully sort of like listening to like some classical music. There seems to be maybe a
yeah,
little smoke in the
I
air.
like
He's
that.
enjoying a little cigarette.
Chilling out. Yeah,
Yeah, and then
he gets a
Ash
call from
calls him,
Ash.
yeah.
Yeah,
Tells him that there's something has changed with Kane.
yeah.
And
I just want to say I really like this trope that we're seeing between the Thing and Alien of the main character being like kind of the second in charge by default, but not the one who's officially in charge, and then the person in charge kind of collapsing under the role and the main character having to step into that role.
yeah, I think this one's also a little different because he really is the leader up until the moment that he like
Yeah, but he's definitely struggling with the pressure more than Ripley does. Like Ripley is a more natural leader. It's not that he like crumbles under the role, but
no, the
he's
way he
not.
reacts, there's a part where he like I remember it being like that's like a very aggressive like sort of like frustrated response to what's happening.
Oh yeah, well there's the moment where she basically tries to have them. It's coming up right here actually. It's where she's trying to get rid of the face hugger now that it's fallen off.
No, I remember that. I do want to say before that though, I like their carefully approach into it because they're like it's not on his face, so where is it? And they're
Yeah.
slowly looking around. And actually, I was gonna say as a counterpoint, like Ripley stays right by the door for most of this, and Dallas exhibits like a lot more sort of like I'm gonna go and fucking find it right now. So
Yeah.
I think this is kind of like this is really we're at his like higher points of like leadership, right?
Yeah.
Like this is like the degradation hasn't fully started to set in, but already with his like foregoing of the quarantine,
Yeah.
there are like we're starting to see cracks in the
Yeah,
armor, right?
Exactly, yeah. And it's just a great setup. It's very satisfying to, instead of just starting with the character who is the leader, watching them grow into that role as a leader is just a great natural arc.
This is another point where the breathing is so high in the mix, like it makes it so tense.
Mm.
And I love that the way that the Thing ultimately falls on Ripley, foreshadowing their sort of like cat and mouse at the very end of the game, at the end of the movie, and her sort of like being the lone survivor,
Totally.
with Jonesy, of course,
Totally.
the cat in the cat and mouse of this cat and mouse.
Yes. Oh, I just gotta ask, right before we get into this scene before Dallas is listening to classical music, at the end of that conversation, does Ash drink a glass of milk? That just like really like caught my eye, and because you see him like sweating milk later, and then what he is like he's like full of this milky juice,
Oh yeah, baby.
and I'm just like,
We're all full of milky juice, really.
yeah, it just got me asking a lot of questions about how organic does he need to process food and liquids, or does he just drink the milk juice?
When you see his insides later on, it's really fucking cool.
It
It is
is.
such like an hard to tell like what's
It's
mechanical,
great.
what's
Yeah.
like organic.
So unique, so creative. Like it just it almost makes me want to tisk it all the just it's always just wires and like, gears and stuff.
Yeah,
Trope.
yeah, for sure. I agree. I love the extra effort put into that.
Totally. Um
And we've got, Ash is examining the dead organism at this point.
yeah, a
And
lot
this
of
is
autopsy.
what you were
goodness.
saying, where Ripley wants to destroy it, Ash wants to keep it, and then they kind of turn to Dallas, and Dallas is like, if it were up to me, I would burn it. But in matters of science, it's completely up to the science officer.
Which, yeah, that's not terrible leadership.
No, it's
point.
fair.
Yeah, it's fair.
I think it's fair, but I see what you mean as like, sure, but like for the safety of the ship,
yeah.
this thing that has already been proven to be a threat,
At least freeze it.
something.
Parker was right, man. Just freeze it.
Yeah, dude. Fucking freeze
I
it.
mean, at this point, it doesn't matter because the true threat's inside of Kane.
Put it in a box and tow it behind the ship. I don't fucking know.
Oh yeah, he has that line. Well, so like yeah, he's also this is him just kind of falling in orders of the company more than looking out for his crew. Like standard procedure is to do what they say, is what he tells Ripley.
Yeah, and I think it's a very relatable sort of like,
Yeah.
hey man, I'm just doing my fucking job.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But we do see like where Ripley does have this sort of extracurricular concern, which I think rightfully so as well. Like it is pretty wild, and I think there is a like an argument from the like, if you're in charge of matters of the ship, to say it is not safe to have this. Let's fucking get rid of it.
I would like to think that I would have the foresight to be like, this thing wrapped around his face for how long? And it was hatched from an egg. This is a biological function. It's clearly designed to do this.
Yeah.
There's more to this.
Yeah,
We're
for
not
sure.
just done with this now.
Yeah, but I think the thing is that Ash is the science officer.
No.
Like you would, and I think that like, I don't know. Some of this stuff is like when you get really into it, it's like, oof.
I guess
yeah.
more pushback is all it would need to be
Yeah.
a little more believable, but like it doesn't need it either.
Yeah, no, for sure. I would agree. And then we get the background about she asked Dallas if like he's traveled with worked with Ash before. Says he had a different science officer the 5 times he shipped out previously.
Yeah.
And that science officer was replaced 2 days
Yeah,
before they shipped
That
out
really
by
stood out
Ash.
to me this time. Yeah.
Yeah. And this is where he asks about how the repairs are coming. And she's like, they're basically done. And this is, again, like showing the cracks forming. And she's like, we just need to do these things. And he's like, you don't need those things to take off. Let's just fucking take off. And she's like, but they're important. And he's like, fuck it. Let's just go.
Yeah.
The desperation
I also,
that's starting to mount, where he's like, the situation is getting out of control, like slipping out of his grip. Like he can feel it.
Yeah, and I don't know. I'm sure we get, or maybe we get confirmation of this somewhere in the lore, but I don't quite understand exactly how this whole thing went down. So the corporation seems to already know that this ship is going to be passing by this ship. So they somehow got an alert outside of this mission, and then saw that this ship was on this flight path, I guess, and then assigned Ash to that crew.
Do you think maybe they have like, yeah.
Because that's like it. The way the movie's set up feels very much like this is just in a spur of the moment. We just discovered something.
Yeah.
But Ash was planted here.
Yeah. I also wonder if it. Yeah. Yeah. That's probably the most likely scenario, right? That's so wild to think about how much information was being fucking withheld from them, right? Like, and how they just like, oh yeah, randomly there's gotta wake back up.
If you think about it too much, it also just like begs the question: why not just send like a specialized crew? Like you're this massive company, just send them on a mission with military. Send the military. You want to do this for military research, right?
Yeah, my thought was that they maybe replace the science officer, like perhaps like
Maybe it is Chance.
Yeah, I was thinking that they had replaced him for like because maybe the science officer. Who knows that part, but I was thinking that like them running across this, like or getting this or getting wind of this transmission because maybe they have like unmanned like spacecraft that like relay messages, right? Like that like go off like listening out for signals. Maybe they're like because she mentions later on like maybe I'll be picked up by some sort of like sweepers or something like that. But maybe they're like these things that are like sweeping for signals or something like that, and they do get wind of something and they like send it to. It's also so interesting, like how Mother is the one that receives the transmission and stops them.
Yeah.
So she could, yeah. I mean, it seems pre-planned is what makes like the most sense.
I almost think it makes the least amount of sense. In Ash, it makes more sense if Ash is coincidental because, like I was saying, like why send this random unspecialized group?
Because they don't matter. They can just die and they're disposable.
Yeah, but you might lose your extremely important thing.
Yeah, for sure. That's true.
Just send in a mercenary group with all your money.
Yeah, I mean that's a good point. I think there's something to like the fact that they are sort of like disposable. Like what's wild though is like, yeah, so it's not the like company that they work for that's like, hey, like Ash, like it doesn't matter if they survive, just bring the sample back. It's Mother based on her programming. Because there's like the communication is not there to like Earth, right? So there's no way, like all of this is Mother making the decision to be like, Ash, you have to like ensure the survival of the thing, that is super fucking like nefarious and so fucked up that in her like programming she has it built into her that if any sort of like alien life form were to be found, that they like prioritize bringing it back.
Yeah, Ripley also makes a guess that I think is very interesting later, where she says that maybe they wanted it for weapons research.
Yeah, the weapons division. Yes.
So, which implies that she thinks it's also pre-planned if they knew about what this organism was in advance. So there's a lot. I don't know how much there is just like sloppy writing, or if it's like very like.
She could also be saying conspiracy. That as like setting the motivate, like her saying that also could be sort of like, yeah, but what's so weird about it is that there's not the communication back and forth about like they found an alien life form that is like really efficient at like killing.
Yeah, exactly.
But is it like, oh, there's like an if then in like the fucking programming of Mother that's like, if you find a violent alien life form, then bring it the fuck back because we want to study it.
Maybe it's just a really bad guess from Ripley, and I'm reading too much into it.
Or maybe, but I mean, I think there's a kind of way to be like, oh, maybe she's right. Like there is like in their like sort of procedures or the things that they're pursuing, and they've programmed into all of their fucking shit is that if they find something of this threat level, then they want to like study it, right?
Yeah, yeah. Interesting questions.
That's what we do here at Cinema Question Cast. Oh, sorry, Cinema Forecast.
Yeah, and I think part of the beauty is that you can just talk about this stuff forever and try to piece it together. And I'm sure if you're like really into all the lore, there's so much there to piece together.
Yeah. I would love to hear about the different ways that, because a lot of times with the continuation, sometimes like plot holes will kind of get filled in like cool and interesting ways.
Yeah.
You just get like the more of the back story, more of the explanation. I'd love to get that filled in a little bit more. I was thinking I really want to watch Aliens now.
Yeah, it's I don't know which one I like better. I think for most of my life I like Aliens better, but they're both so good.
No, I like them both a lot.
Yeah,
I like them, but that's why I watching this movie made me be like, I need to revisit Aliens as well.
That keeps happening to us. We keep watching the first one. Like, I wish we could just like go on to the second one.
I did. No, I mean, I watched Spider-Man 2 after we watched Spider-Man.
Hell yeah, brother.
I had a great time.
Hell yeah.
We get them taking off, going back to the ship.
Yep.
And we get one of my favorite comedic scenes, which is fucking Parker says something and Brett says, right? And then Ripley says, everything you say, everything he says, you just say right. And he goes, right? And then everyone just keeps saying shit to him and he keeps going, right? and he's like smoking a cigarette while rolling a cigarette, and it's just so great. Again, some of this like downtime, this like again a little bit of a palate cleanser, a little bit of comedy, a little bit of levity, while some very important information is being given. Where they say, I think Dallas says that Kane's gonna have to be quarantined. Ripley says we're all gonna have to be quarantined, and then
Parker says they should freeze him.
yeah, he said you should freeze him. And then 10 months is how long it'll take him to get back to Earth. As you
Yeah,
mentioned
and this is
before.
really interesting. Is it because of the situation they're in that they can't use the crypto machines again?
No, they're going to.
Cryo sleep.
They tell Kane when he wakes up, we're going back into cryo sleep.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're gonna go back in the it's Brett who says we're going back in the freezerino, which I love. But in this scene you really see Dallas is falling apart. Like he seems so tense because they're like kind of joking, going back and forth, doing the right thing, right, and then like it's bled into the whole discussion about it's gonna take them 10 months, and he's like basically like, all right, everybody shut the fuck up, like everybody like stop joking around, this is like serious, which like feels like whoa dude,
yeah
you're losing your fucking grip.
Another parallel I'm drawing between, I'm sorry if I'm doing this too often, but we just did the thing and like it's so clearly inspired by this. The isolation of the incoming storm in the thing is like very similar to the isolation of it. We're 10 months from civilization. Like we're absolutely out here by ourselves. So, like we have to do this ourselves.
I mean, they are arguably much more isolated than the people in the people in the thing.
Yeah, but I mean, the end results are basically the same.
yeah. That's true. This is when they get the Ash calls them, and he's saying that and he's like, y'all should come down and see Kane. And they're like, well, what's going on? And he's like, it'll be better if you just come down and
just
check
say
it
he's
out.
awake, but that's fine.
But whatever. I kind of like it. It's kind of
no,
cute.
I know that's the cinematic language for it. Yeah.
But it's also fun. Like that's like something I would do. Maybe because I'm like, this is gonna be a really pleasant surprise when they walk in here and
after
see
all
him
these
awake.
all these shitty things happening.
Also, what if he dies before they get down there? Then at least I can be like, oh, I told you something. Well, he was awake, and I was excited to show you guys that he was awake. But then he died before you guys got here, so now he's dead. So something did change. Two things changed, I guess.
Yeah, I find it what he says when he wakes up about how he had a horrible dream about smothering. And it's like, oh god, bro, it's so awful to imagine.
It is really good.
It's so awful.
Yeah, and he does tell him that they're going back in the freezerino, and Kane says, can we just have, and this is such like an if moment in the film based on what you're saying about the cryosleep, is like, what if they did just say, no, man, sorry, like we got to go back to sleep now, but no, they want to like, it's a moment of levity, and you see Dallas like kind of trying to regain some of his like footing as the leader, and he goes, yeah, because Kane says, I want to have one more meal, and Dallas is like, one more meal, I'm buying, guys.
Yeah.
And even fucking Parker's stoked. He's like, that's something. No, that's something. God, Yaphet Kotto, I have not seen him in enough stuff, but Parker is like one of my favorite characters in this. His voice, the way he talks, he is like,
he's got a lot of range too. Cause he turns into like, a big badass, but he's very jokey and playful and always like kind of, playing tricks on people for most of the movie, and he's also like keeps joking about wanting more pay and all that.
He's got so much fucking aura, dude.
Yeah,
so much aura. He says something so fucking funny in the next scene when they're talking about eating food, and he's looking at Lambert talking about how he'd rather be eating pussy is what he's like heavily implying, and she's like, oh my god, and he's just such a wild human being, Just like one of those turned up to 11 kind of guys,
Yeah, for real. And this is such a famous scene here, this whole setup. I mean, one of the most famous scenes in horror, I would argue, probably.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, I remember I saw this, they make fun of it in Spaceballs. That's like the first time I saw it.
Unfortunately, there's a couple moments like that that like kind of sap some of the intenseness of the moment, because I was thinking about Spaceballs.
Yeah, it is I was left with my mouth agape when it happened. And
Oh,
I also
yes.
I
Oh,
love
yeah.
how quickly it happens. Like he takes like one bite.
Yeah, it's really
And
sad too because he says he just wants the first thing he's gonna do is get some decent food when he gets
yeah,
back, which is just like, damn it, dude.
I
You
love
really
how
gonna have to give him that last moment of longing.
I love how Parker says, "Hey man, the food isn't that bad."
Yeah,
I think I'm learning that I'm really liking the food ain't that bad jokes.
yeah, it's
But
pretty good.
I was struck by how quickly it happened, and I thought in my head, I was like, did the organism like he put some food in himself? And it's like, no, that I mean, either it's like fully cooked and ready to come out at that perfect moment, or I had a little read like maybe like
Mm,
the like foreign substance, and it's like I don't know how to process like weird fucking space food,
or
and it's
maybe
like
just in the like because it's so like good at surviving in so many ways. Maybe it's just like I've it knows that it's about to potentially be poisoned or like use some supplement on it or like if they're trying to ingest
right
something
like
into me,
medicine or
yeah,
something.
it's time to get out of here.
Yeah, that's not a bad read either. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I was sort of thinking. Any sort of like foreign thing that might pose at any threat. It's like
Yeah,
time to
that's
burst
so
out, right?
good. Yeah, I hadn't thought about it before, but yeah, totally. Yeah, I just wrote in my notes here. Oh fuck.
Yeah, like I said, I was left with my mouth agape. Like,
Yeah,
and I've seen this before, and it's just like,
it's so
fuck, it's
good.
so good.
It's so good.
It's two knocks too,
I
dude.
mean, probably the best scene in the movie, I think, just in terms of the sheer horror of like the like I was saying, the rest of the movie is great and I'm gonna keep hyping on all the other great stuff, but just like the first act building up to this moment of tension, just it feels like immaculate, it just feels like
I mean,
perfection.
I think this might be like the midpoint of the movie. Actually, I think this is like Act Two, really. Like, I would think structurally.
I It's interesting. Yeah, there's because I have a kind of a different with between Act 2 and Act 3. I have two different reads on that. But this definitely feels like the climax of everything the first act has been building to.
Yeah, for sure. It feels like just timing wise, it's like a
Yeah.
very, very long amount of time.
I think it's a big first act for sure, but it does feel like the first, and then I would say like Act 2 is the whole crew trying to deal with the situation, and Act 3 is Ripley like by
Yeah,
herself.
I think I'd probably if I looked at it in a more granular level, I would disagree on some of those points and maybe like shift some things a little bit further back. Yeah, in my mind I'm thinking about it, it feels like an act like we're in like the middle of the second act right here.
Interesting, interesting. Um, Ash immediately protects it as soon as it comes out. Parker wants to like immediately kill it, but he stops. Oh man, if he just didn't listen to Ash there, so many moments they could have avoided this whole situation.
It like screeches so terrifying. This is one of the points, one of the 2 points for visual effects where I was like, this is goofy. Because it
Yeah,
skates like off
yeah,
of the table.
yeah. Well, I think that actually works if it wasn't for Spaceballs for me because there's that scene where it comes out and starts singing, and it just made me think of that little goofy guy.
Yeah,
Uh,
no, that's pretty funny. Just the movement of it didn't feel organic. It felt
yeah,
like it was on a track
yeah,
being
yeah,
moved. That's the point that I'm making.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like even regardless of the singing little guy,
Yeah.
um
I love Lambert's reaction in this scene. I think she really embodies the like oh god moment so well. Like her just utter horror. Everyone else is kind of just like in quiet shock, but she's like hysteric.
yeah. Yeah, she's definitely like the like the most shows the most emotion throughout all of this, and definitely feel like reflects I think like how you feel as the audience when you fucking see her, you're like, what the fuck just fucking happened.
Yeah.
And
So
then
good.
the next shot is these empty corridors and the echoing of their voices as they're like sort of trying to like find the creature, like, hey, is it over there, like, is it over there, but you don't really see them. You just see these
Mm,
empty shots of the
yeah.
corridors, again foreshadowing the death of everyone except for one of them.
Yep. Yep. That's really good. They have this very somber funeral
Yeah, the space funeral.
for Kane. I like that when Dallas asks if anyone wants to say anything, just nobody replies.
Yeah.
It's very like cold, but it feels realistic. Like after what they just went through, like this is not a moment you'd be like, I remember all the good times I had with Kane. You'd be like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah. And there's so much still that needs to be taken care of, you know?
Yeah. I love them trying to kind of like rig together some sort of weapons. They got the cattle prod.
And then
Uh
Ash has made a tracker that works on
yeah.
micro changes in air density.
Yeah. Um
And we get them splitting the party. We've got Dallas, Ash, and Lambert on one team, and then we've got Ripley, Parker, and Brett.
right. And so splitting the party here makes total sense cuz it's like you saw this there is no world where you predict this thing could turn into the size it does and the amount of time it does. And I really like found myself thinking about that biological part about it. And I'm like, is it possible? Could like some organism cells be so dense that it like unfurls itself as it like in its first
Yeah. I also wonder, are there like exoskeletons we're not seeing that were shed throughout the like ship as it's like rapidly growing?
Yeah.
I want to say I think it makes sense when they do it throughout. Like the way that because they're trying to pinpoint this thing and like take it out and they're like trying to close in on it and the different tactics they used. I actually really enjoyed when they like later on like after fucking Brett dies while he's trying to look for Jonesy where they're trying to like triangulate it by having someone go through the air shafts closing like the different like sections
Yeah.
and have the people at the two major like exit points.
I loved how methodical that was, but
that was dope.
But I think sending one person is kind of dumb. I mean, to have someone at his back with the cattle prod, something. But I guess you might get in the way
Then
of the
you lose two
flamethrower,
people, and then you might lose two people as well. You know.
Yeah, there's more of an argument for splitting up more often in this one, I think, than the thing for sure.
For sure. And we do get we start with Parker, Brett, and Ripley, and the light is out, and then we see Brett and sort of Parker immediately go to try and fix it because they're like, I thought you fixed 12 module, implying that something has happened here, right? Maybe something has taken out the lights somehow. But yeah.
Yeah, this is around the point where some of these longer drawn out scenes, I found myself being like I kind of want to get to it, and I think part of that is just like having seen it a bunch of times where I know like where things are leading, that like a lot of the tension doesn't have the same effect of just like slowly looking for something.
I relished these moments.
I like it's so well done, but I think I was ready for more of a pace shift, and there's still like great like paced moments, and I do like the slower burn aspect of it. I think it's just like as the movie goes along, I want like fewer and fewer long drawn out tense searches, but it kind of goes through the whole movie.
It felt appropriate where it happened for me. I think like it is like I love the idea of these horror situations where it's like it's not constantly like, oh my god, like it's right there, it's right on top of us, but it's always like there's like it's hiding and there's this like nefarious aspect of the way that it's so fucking stealthy and it's able to get out of their grasp. So I really did relish in these a lot, like all of them really. Second watch through doing this, I was very very pleased, very happy.
And I wonder how much
felt very familiar, like I was putting on an old pair of pants.
Yeah, I mean, I love it still, but I wonder how much of this kind of read comes again from watching The Thing so recently, which, like I said, just has this kind of this pace that does not let up after a certain point, where it's like things are constantly escalating between the people in the group as well as the circumstances of what's actually happening with the monster. So I think The Thing kind of did it better for me in terms of just like interpersonal conflict happening, but so much of that is tied into the premise of not knowing who is the thing. And
I feel like they're like I totally see what you're saying, but they're also different stories, right? They're very different stories, and the like horror originates from like there's a similar place with the like unfathomable aspect of like an alien life form, but one is so much more based on like it could be anyone versus like
There's
this like
something we're
stealth
trapped on
killer.
this
Yeah.
ship with totally.
I do like the way that they set up the tracker too, because Dallas is like, all right, hold on, how's this thing work? And so we get the sound set up, and he waves his hand, and we see how it works, because it's gonna come into play as they're tracking
Yeah.
it, right? Like,
Yeah, I mean
and
the tracker is such a good idea for. I mean, if you want to talk about greatly tense pace scene, them using
that's
the
what
tracker,
I love
amazing.
it so much.
Yeah.
Like her waving it around, and also sort of like being a little like dubious, and she says like, micro changes in air density, my ass.
Yeah,
And
it's good.
I love again so much more of this, like, because they find that room where they're finding the motion, and like they like slowly enter, and there's like the smoke and the light like shining through the smoke, and ultimately it's Jonesy, right? And I love the like thought process of like, no, you got to go get the cat, because otherwise we're gonna get false positive again, right? Like,
yeah, because he's holding up the net, and then the cat goes by, and they're like, "What are you doing, man?" He's like, "What? It's a cat." And he's like, "Yeah, but we're gonna cat. It's
yeah, we
gonna
gotta
keep coming
catch
up."
the
Which,
cat.
smart. And again, like very reasonable to split the party here, because you have no idea. Like, why would you think this little thing could kill a man by itself?
Yeah, I did say, I was like, this is a bad idea.
Yeah, I mean, I probably wouldn't want to go alone
Like,
with this thing running about, but
why don't all of you go
mean,
get the cat together? Like,
yeah, for sure.
But it is fun in the movie sense, because it's a really good, like, tense scene of Brent walking around looking for Jonesy, and there's all this really great darkness all across, like, his face, and
the engine of the ship sounds like this beating heart throughout this whole sequence. I don't know if you noticed that. It's just boom, 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 boom.
yeah, there's
boom,
no
boom.
music. It's just all the ambient sounds.
Yeah, it's really
there's
good.
the water dripping, the chain clanking, that thrum, like constant thrum of the ship working. It's so fucking it's so good. I love this scene so much. This is like one of my favorite, like, slow, like, tense, like, dark. This like scene is always like really stuck with me after I watched this movie. Like, hit the way, and also the way that they use a cat for like a reaction shot is so much fun, because you can see the horror in Jonesy's face. Like, just like we're able to.
I'm kind of worried what they had to do to get that the reaction from that cat.
Yeah, I also read it as part of it is like, it's like a blank sort of slate and an innocent creature that you can very easily be like interpret like a neutral face as like horror. At least that's what I hope. Like,
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they just put this freaking puppet in front of it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
it was a genuine reaction.
Jonesy's doing a lot of hissing and shit too throughout the movie, and like screeching and running away. So it is curious to think about how they perhaps got that performance out of Dear Jonesy there.
I'm with you most of the way on this scene. I like I said, I feel like I like so much of it. It's a little too long for me, I think, especially with just like, oh, it's a cat. Okay, go get the cat. All right, here's the cat. Oh no, the cat ran away. Okay, get the cat.
Yeah,
it's just a very drawn out scene, but like it works.
I wouldn't say
still.
It's very drawn out. I think it's appropriately drawn out. I think you have to like take your time with these things to really like make it effective. I feel like, because if it's too short and it's just like one thing to the other, then I'm like, what the fuck? Why am I even sitting down to do this? Like, just give me a fucking synopsis. Like, take your time with these beautiful sets. Like, let me like take it in. Let me like be able to scan the room and look at the different corners. Can I find it? There's the chains clanking,
yes,
the tail, the visual similarities of all these different aspects, and I'm sitting there so engaged. So engaged.
Hell yeah, brother. Yeah, it didn't quite get me there, but I was very much enjoying it still. The look of the drippy chain room, that's definitely, like you were saying, one of the best sets. Oh my god, I love the way, the atmosphere of this, and I do like the moment of him just like bathing under the dripping water, even though I'm like, I don't know if I would put my head under that, but maybe I would, man. Fuck it.
He's also like, dude, he's a working class dude. He works down in the bowels of the ship.
Yeah.
He knows exactly where that's like that moisture is collecting from,
For sure.
He's like, he's like, hardworking guy drinks out of the faucet, you know?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Did we mention he found the shed skin as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking creepy.
Yeah. Very unsettling. And that's about the point I get the fuck out of there, I think.
Yeah.
Um.
Yeah, for sure.
Uh.
I love again, it is Jonesy who
Yeah.
sees the xenomorph,
Yeah.
and Kane is sorry, not Kane, but Brett is like, "What's up, dude? What the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
Like,
He's surprised he's
why are you
hissing at
hissing
him.
at me,
Yeah.
man?"
Yeah.
And then, we fucking turns
the
around
reveal.
and there it fucking is, dude.
Yeah. Great looking puppet. Awesome. I mean, one of the most iconic monster designs of all time. Like,
Is it a puppet at the point, or is it a guy in a suit right there?
oh, I don't know.
It's a guy in the suit with with a lot of it. Maybe they also have a
I think
puppet as well.
if it has to move around a lot, I think that's when they're gonna be having the guy in the suit. Because the guy in the suit doesn't look quite as good as the puppet. So I think they use the puppet whenever they can.
Word, yeah. Yeah. The guy in the suit doesn't look quite as good.
Yeah.
There is the part where later on where he like does like jazz hands to the camera.
Yeah.
Where he kills Dallas.
So that was actually my first moment where I'm like, that probably could have looked a little better.
Is the other one like at the very end where it's like
Yeah.
sleeping?
No, just the moment where it's like flapping around outside the back of the ship.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's serviceable, but not perfection like so much of this movie is. Yeah, in a way it kind of pulls him up, and like the reaction they have after this of like it took him into the air shaft, like he was just like gone.
That's also dope. I love the way how it cuts to them.
Yeah.
It's not them finding it.
Yeah.
Again, we're talking about this pacing stuff. I feel like jumps over some stuff it doesn't need to really get into the rigmarole of, and like just like boom, immediately
Yeah.
in the middle of their conversation saying it took him in the air shaft.
Yeah, and Parker just immediately just like, okay, this thing is big, and he keeps kind of saying that throughout the scene, like this thing's like really fucking big, guys, and everyone else is just kind of talking around, and he's just like really caught up on just like, damn, this thing is really fucking big.
Yeah, I
pulled
do.
him up there.
I love that shit. Like where he's
Yeah.
like saying some stuff that's important, but they're like trying to like come up with a plan. And the plan, like I said earlier, is they want to locate it by driving it through the air shaft, cover the maintenance opening
Yeah.
with Parker and Lambert. Then Ash and Ripley will take the main airlock, and Dallas, because at first Ripley's like, I'll go in the, because fucking Lambert says, who's gonna go in the air shaft, and Ripley says, I'll do it, and then Dallas is like, no, I'm
Maybe
doing it.
if Ripley would have done it herself, I think there's a shot she could have burned him up. I don't know if the flamethrower would take one out, but if it could, I think Ripley might win that.
Yeah, for sure. I also like it as the sort of like the captain goes down with the ship sort of thing.
It's great. It's perfect. It's a great, especially because it fills the void for Ripley to step into for the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, narratively, it's perfect. But I just wonder, it's one of those what if moments. Could Ripley have taken on the alien? Because what gets Dallas in this scene is that he starts panicking.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it doesn't help. There would be a point for sure where I'm like, can you get anyone else but Lambert giving the directions here?
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's coming!
It was pretty fucking funny. It was pretty fucking funny. I do love that again. We talked about like downtime in movies. He does take one last trip to Mother to be like, is there any other way to do this?
And this is a great scene, yeah.
Yeah, it says unable to compute, available data insufficient.
Yeah.
And then when he says, "What are my chances?" and she says, "Does not compute."
Yeah.
So fucking dope.
I love that. Yeah. And again, just direct homage to that in The Thing for sure. Like that feels like it has to be like a wink. And also they mentioned that Parker is gonna rig up the incinerator, which I was wondering early in the movie, like, wait, why do they have a flamethrower?
No, he says rig up a couple of incinerators, like the things, like the flamethrowers they use. I think they call them incinerators.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
But why do they have them?
Well, I was wondering that earlier in the movie, like, why do they have flamethrowers? And then we got this great little explanation here, like, I'm gonna rig them up, and I'm like, oh, Parker's a badass, that's why.
Oh, like where do they get them from?
Yeah,
And
well, I
it's-
was just wondering early in the movie, why would they have flamethrowers on this ship, not thinking that someone could just put one together, but it's like, oh yeah, cool, Parker's crafty.
Right, for sure. I mean, I could also see that being. I mean, they're like carrying like ore. It's like a mining operation, so I could potentially see the use for it in
Sure.
some capacity.
Or maybe just, you get caught on a frozen planet or something freezes over. I don't know.
I mean, it's space, dude.
Yeah, it's space.
But shit, space is cold.
It's hella cold out there.
It's pretty fucking cold.
It's like about almost as cold as it can get.
This is I enjoyed this scene.
Yes, no,
as well.
this scene works really well.
The
for
air
me.
shaft and the
Yeah.
different like sections and
Yeah,
closing the hatches.
Yeah, my critiques around the pacing is more around at this point in the movie. I want less of the slow like looking moments, but this is not that. This is like a perfect tense showdown. And I think it's a great character moment for Dallas.
Yeah.
Like, cause yeah, he goes out like a good leader here. Like you're saying, going down with the ship.
It is really, as you said, it is kind of like if you're like swept up in the tension, it like works, but it is so fucking funny when she's like, "No, don't go that way. You're going right towards it."
Yeah. I mean, I understand her panic. And it makes him panic, but yeah, I feel like anyone else in that room, like Ripley, should have been like, "Okay, here, let me let me
Yeah.
do this."
No, absolutely. But it is this fun filmmaking thing of like the juxtaposition of her like tense and fucking like hysteric voice
Yeah.
with like
I mean,
the
great
fucking,
performance
like,
because
yeah.
she starts out calm and collected, and then slowly
starts freaking out more and more. And I love the dots. A lot of fun like
it's
shit
so
going
good.
on.
Yeah,
A lot
just
of
the
good movie
beeping,
shit.
droning, yeah, scanner, just it's great. Yeah, and yeah, the whole plan is very cool.
And this is the part where he does jazz hands at him, and
Yeah,
it's kind of silly.
it's a little silly looking. But yeah, poor Dallas, man.
The shrieking though,
Because
the shrieking every time somebody's like killed like that. Oh my god, dude.
yeah, because he totally had a shot to make this work. I think that flamethrower had a shot. But it was freaking Lambert, dude, just making him panic. But I do love, the moment of him breaking. I thought it was an excellent like character moment of him just like, I got to get out of here. Like you can see the moment where
Yeah,
he's like, no,
yeah.
I don't like this. I'm done.
I also like the line right after that where it's like, "We found the incinerator, but there was no blood." And that is like terrifying somehow. Like more
Yeah.
terrifying
Yeah.
than if they found a bunch of fucking blood everywhere. Because like,
because
what did it
What
do
did it do to
with
his
him?
body? Yeah, exactly. Your imagination's always gonna be worse than what it actually did, which is probably just like chomp into it a bit and leave it somewhere.
Lambert wants to take the shuttle, but even though Ripley's saying that we need to proceed with Dallas's plan,
Oh well,
but it won't fit 4 of them.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, which is
So
great.
she says that they should draw straws. I'm like, we're not fucking drawing straws. We're gonna fucking. And Parker is like insistent. No, I'm gonna fucking kill this thing. And I
Yeah.
love like there's this like Parker and Ripley are on the same page,
Mhm.
but it's this thing of like there's so much emotion
Yeah,
and everyone's so hot, especially Parker,
yeah,
that like he can't like really listen to what she's saying, and ultimately he's like, "Oh, if we're gonna kill it, then I'm on board." And she's like, "Yeah, we're gonna fucking kill it. Like, just fucking do what I say, and we'll fucking take care of this."
Can you imagine if they drew straws and Lambert was the last, drew the short straw?
Yeah, I wonder. So is it like how many people are?
I think they are one too many. I believe, right? Because they got
Because then they're gonna take it and take their chances later on. But that also feels like a moment where they're like, "Dude, this is fucked. Like we're like."
Well, they still believe that they have no idea how perfect of a specimen this
No,
is,
for sure.
right?
I just mean like later on, they
Yeah,
do
yeah.
ultimately say like, let's just fucking take our chances on the shuttle, which I didn't necessarily need. Like, I was like, so does it fit 3? Or they're like, fuck it, we're gonna try, because then they want to collect all the coolant, and that makes
No,
it
I
feel
think
like they're
at that point they don't have to worry about ash anymore. So
right, but they're still like what I was saying. They're gonna collect all of the coolant, so that for the like life support system. So that makes me think like, oh, maybe they're overworking the life support systems by having 3 people, because maybe it doesn't support 3 people.
oh
Yeah, so I was curious.
yeah.
Been interesting to know. Like, what's the number? What's the number for the shuttle?
Interesting. Yeah, good call there. Yeah, because I was wondering, I didn't quite catch that line about looking for the coolants. I'm like, wait, what are they doing right now?
Yeah, they go get a bunch of coolant for the life support systems.
Damn it, Lambert.
It's a good fucking like plot point and idea as well. I like that.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah,
a cool aspect to separate them again, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they still should have stuck together, but
Yeah.
yeah. um.
And then Ripley asks about like she asks fucking Ash like what have you and Mother come up with? And he's like, we're still collating. And she's like, okay, well, I don't believe that. You keep doing what you're good at, which is
Right.
nothing.
Right.
And then she's like, I can go see Mother myself.
Yep. This is where she finds out that the crew is expendable.
And it's again, like I said, this really awesome mirroring of the same shot, the same sort of process of Dallas walking into Mother, and like the same sort of like shot of her and of her that was of him, and of their hands typing on the keyboard, really signifying her like full take of like of command over the ship.
Yeah. I mean, she's really stepping up into her role now. I mean, she tells them right before this, like, we have to stick together. Like, everyone basically, like, she's the one basically keeping them calm and collected and, like, okay, let's think this through and execute a plan here.
It's also wild, like, she's like, we're getting these, like, sort of, like, reaction shots of her, and then, like, fucking Ash is just, like, right there.
Yeah, so spooky.
Fucking terrifying, dude. What the fuck?
Yeah. And she's, like, trying to get away from him because what's the line he tells her? He says something like, oh, this is all perfectly reasonable. Like,
Yeah, he says something like, well, just, like, take a second and think about this. Like, no, this makes sense. It's not unreasonable, And, like, yeah, she fucking pushes him and, like, runs off.
Yeah, I didn't catch how she got the bloody nose here.
I think he tries to, like, stop her from going. I don't know. They kind of, like, tussle, and then, like, yeah, she's...
Yeah, I was a little
got a
confused by
bloody
that. I wasn't
nose.
sure if I was just writing notes and she got bonked by him, but I didn't see it. Yeah, and so I love this whole little setup too of the door slowly closing in the main like dining room as she's trying to escape from him. And then yeah, just the realization that she's trapped in there with him, and then the sweat coming down his milky sweat,
a little bit of milk,
dripping some milk. And he basically just like starts trying to kill her.
Well, he like knocks her out, and then he starts shoving a newspaper,
Which
like a
is
rolled up
such
magazine, down her throat.
Strange choice. I did have a note here when he knocks her out. This moment of him just like hesitating. Is he malfunctioning? What? I wasn't quite sure what was happening. It was almost like part of me was wondering if it's like, is this some like conflicting protocol he has here where he can't kill humans or something, but the mission takes priority, and that's why he has to find such a weird way to kill her because he can't like strangle her or something. Like he finds a loophole in his programming to shove a newspaper down her throat.
Yeah, I don't know.
I was like, I don't know. None of that really clicked for me before, but it's such a
he's so
strange
fucking
scene.
strong. Like
Yeah.
like because he holds off like the two of them while Ripley is like struggling,
right.
and like fucking Yaphet Kotto's like a big fucking
Yeah, I
dude.
mean that's the thing that makes me like question this moment so much, because he could easily just choke her out there,
Yeah.
or crush her head, or do something, but he drags her over and tries to shove paper down her throat. Like it's such a specific
Yeah,
thing.
he tries to shove a magazine down her throat.
Yeah, that's
And then I love
horrifying.
the way it fucking looks when he fucking knocks his head off, and you're like, what the fuck is going on?
Such a good reveal.
I was like, and then he says, I think he says, Ash is a goddamn robot.
Yeah, I love when Parker's trying to pull him off and he just like grabs his chest. That's his
Yeah.
defense, and
And he's
Parker's just like,
"Ow."
what the fuck? Yeah, really good. And I guess I said Lambert doesn't really have any kind of heroic moments. She tried to stop Ash here.
Yeah.
Not super effectively, but she
No,
tried. She didn't
no.
cower.
Yeah, she did. She did not cower.
Yeah.
I really like this like practical effect.
Oh yeah.
There is a little thing with the head where the model of the head is quite clearly not the same
Yeah.
as his head.
There's
like,
a pretty obvious cut.
the parts where you can see the wire underneath, you can tell is like the model, and then when his head is like laying flat, and you can tell kind of like popping through a table, right, or whatever, like then that looks amazing. But the like model of the head, not quite as good.
Yeah. And just like we've already mentioned, the whole anatomy of this robot is so fucking weird and cool. And,
Yeah, it looks
what are
like
all
it-
these little pustules and weird milky balls and stuff?
It looks like there's like an intestine of some sort. Like
it's so so foreign but familiar that it really ramps up that horror good stuff.
Yeah, and they're looking for information about how to kill it. And also, this is the moment where Ripley tells Ash, like, tell them about what your mission, like, what
Yeah.
your special order was,
Yeah.
and he's like, you know what it is, and she's like, no, like, I want you to tell them.
Yeah, this is like again, like especially this scene, where there's seems to be like this disdain, where he's like, I thought the orders were quite obvious. Like he's very smug about it. Like he it feels like he's rubbing it in to me.
Yeah, I like his toot. He's got a good toot.
Well, I know. It's just again, just like such an interesting choice for a robot.
Yeah, no,
he's
for
not
sure.
clinical. It's
No,
like
he is
personal.
kind of haughty sometimes, or kind
Yeah.
of like, you don't fucking get it. You're a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
And then this is where we get him admiring its purity,
Yeah, it's a perfect organism. All that great monologue. I really like it. He like is talking about how he admires its unclouded conscience and no delusions of morality and all that. And it's like that is kind of again feeding into like this philosophy.
Feels so like Randian in a way. Feels kind of like Bioshocky in a
Like
way.
it almost like he views humans as like these kind of weak, pathetic creatures that let their emotions get in the way of everything.
Yeah.
Like there's this like the way he talks about his admiration for the organism also really like highlights that disdain for me.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Yeah, I would agree. I definitely see it in the way that he praises it. Yeah, like you said. Then we have their new plan, which is fuck it. We're going to just blow up the ship and we're going to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, he also has one last cheeky moment of you have my sympathies and smiles.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. It was so creepy. It was good though. Creepy.
Yeah,
guy.
and Parker burns him. I forgot he did that. I was just like, hell yeah.
Yeah, it completely
nodded.
melts him, dude.
Great. It's really cool.
Yeah,
to
I
see
love
that
watching
melting.
the face melt away.
Yeah, it looks great.
Yeah, looks awesome.
Um,
And I we get some starts to setups for some timers. They have 10 minutes after they flip the switches, and this is where Ripley mentions we're gonna need coolant for the air support systems. So Ripley sends them to get coolant while Ripley goes to get the shuttle ready, and she says, "You have 7 minutes to make it back."
right. And so I originally was thinking that, not that it matters to, but I do think it's interesting to talk about the structure if it were a 3-act structure. I was thinking that the whole reveal of Ash as a robot was kind of the climax of Act 2, but then it settled in more, like I was saying, I think, for me, I think it feels like the final kind of story is her on her own after the other two have died, so I went back and kind of placed it later.
And then the whole thing that sort of sends her back onto the ship I love is she hears Jonesy over the fucking over the radio or something. She's
little
I
meow.
can't leave the cat behind,
Can't
man.
leave the cat. Yes, after my own heart here.
And we have this really awesome intercut that starts to happen where we have Lambert and Parker are getting the coolant, Ripley walking around the ship looking for Jonesy, and just this sort of feel the tension really starting to ratchet up, especially the way the different ways Lambert and Parker are getting the coolant. She's already kind of throwing the shit around when she's first getting them, but eventually in the last coolant part is she's fucking tossing them at fucking Parker, and it's just you really feel let's get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, and the way the cockpit looks, just the low angle shot of her slowly walking through it, and I don't know, there's something about the set here that is one of the it feels like there's a reason they set this up as one of the last sets, I guess, where it just has this presence and all the lights and how calm it is, with the contrast of what's going on in the rest of the ship.
For sure. There was a really, really cool composition in the shot where Dallas is crawling through the tunnel, where he crawls over the camera. And you mentioning that just reminded me of that. That's very, very because it is this low angle and he crawls over it. And just want to shout that out.
Hell yeah.
Again, S-tier cinematography.
Yeah,
some really good fucking composition.
Yeah.
Some really good camera movement too in this fucking movement. A lot of really good camera movement. I had a note earlier on the whole like way that we're like doing this voyeuristic like handheld camera through the ship in the earlier parts of the movie is this setup of like this creature stalking its prey like in the shadows throughout
Mm,
like this part of the movie.
yeah, that's a good call. I like that.
And then
Um,
we do have her ultimately getting Jonesy in the carrier.
yeah, yeah. Jonesy's rescued. Yeah, another cat jump scare. Classic.
Classic double cat jump scare.
And this is when the alien sneaks up on Parker
The
and Lambert.
silhouette,
Yeah.
so dope. There's just like the circle of light on Lambert as she's grabbing the coolant, and we can see the fucking like this weird alien slowly like crawl, like its silhouette slowly form in the fucking light. So fucking good.
Yeah. Damn it, Lambert. Get
Yeah.
out of the way.
Yeah, I know. I love Parker's like, get out of the way, dude, and I'll fucking murk this thing. But she can't move,
I
and he
know.
can't bring himself.
Yeah, to
So,
do it.
yeah.
I wouldn't have tackled it, I don't think, but I love Parker just like, all right, I'm gonna fucking take this thing on, and that's awesome.
Yeah, I do love that we're seeing these two extremes of how people
Yeah.
act in these
Yeah,
situations.
no, it's
We
great.
have her frozen, absolutely
Yeah.
paralyzed, and he's like, "I'm gonna take it head on,
Yeah, it's
dude."
the literal fight or flight.
That's
Yeah.
very cool. Well, it's more like fight or like stand still and piss your pants.
Yeah. Yeah, true. The sequence of Ripley running down the hallway to try to get to them in time is one of my favorite sequences in the movie of it's she's running, you hear the screams, and then it's just like silence.
Yes, I love that so much.
And it's just you're just left alone on the ship, and you feel like Ripley in this moment of just
When-
like it's just us now, just you.
when the all those sounds cut out, all the screaming cuts out, because it is like you can hear Parker and Lambert both, and then the screech and everything goes out. Then like suddenly like Ripley's breathing is so loud in the mix, like it's like her like the way she's breathing is deafening. It's so I love that, like fucking just stepping into like a character like fully through like the thought of like their breath, like because it really makes you feel like oh my fucking god, like
Yeah.
I'm the only one left.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Yeah, there's a couple good, just amazing sequences coming up here. I mean, so she sets off the bomb's timer. So she finds the bodies, she runs back, she sets off the bomb's timer. The alarm countdown begins. We love a countdown.
We do.
This
And it can't. I like the also the thing that like there's a fail safe, so it can't be overridden
yeah, after
after
5
minutes.
Yeah, and so this final section here is so good, split into two 5-minute sections of trying to escape, the ship, and this scene. Oh my God, can you have a more badass woman here? She has a flamethrower in one hand, a cat in the other hand, just looking like a mega badass running down the hallway here.
I mean, also though we have those close-ups of her face, and
Yeah.
she's covered in sweat, and she's
yeah.
terrified.
Yeah, no, and that's what I was saying in the beginning. One of my favorite things about her as a protagonist is just like how unstereotypical of a like hero she is I guess more stereotypical of a horror movie is someone who's just trying to survive. But like her how well her character and how real it feels of her horror versus her leadership capabilities and her ability to stay cool under pressure and all that, like all colliding with each other. She's not just one or the other.
Yeah, and she eventually gets to the shuttle and is turning a corner to the shuttle. And I love, again, this one is very clear as she makes her way from the shuttle to go find Jonesy. She goes down that same ladder, then she comes up with him in the carrier, and then she sees the xenomorph there, drops Jonesy, and runs away.
Yeah, and really solidifying that she's not a hero.
Yeah.
She drops the cat, bro.
I
Come on.
love I love the aspect of it's gonna be way worse later. When she gets in the shuttle, she throws him into the shuttle and flips the carrier over.
Hey,
It's what the
at least
fuck?
he's getting out there alive, you know.
Yeah, sure. But still tossing him around like a fucking rag doll. There's this there's this really awesome part though. No, sorry. It's not an awesome part. It's just so funny to me. Outside of the movie, to think about like, all right, I'm gonna set off the self-destruct. Oh shit, time to not do the self-destruct. Oh shit, I was literally like 1 maybe 2 seconds too
Yes,
late
I
to
love
like undo the self-destruct.
her little freak out at Mother here is just perfect. It's such a good resolution to the relationship. You bitch.
It's pretty good.
Yes, again, just the sequence here of the smoke, the alarms, the running through the halls, all so good. The set looks so good.
It's also really funny that she runs back and he's like, "Oh, he's gone. That's so convenient. Cool. I'm gonna get on the shuttle."
Yeah, I mean, what else do you do?
No,
Like,
that's what you do for
that's
sure.
all you can do.
But
Yeah,
like, she seems like
too self assured that
yeah,
she
she's like,
became
and then
away.
she blows it
Yeah,
up and she's like, "I got you, you son of a bitch." And of course you're like, "Did she though?"
yeah, yeah. Um,
Because she didn't.
She didn't. But she did get Jonesy, and got to put some respect on. She had almost forgotten about Jonesy. She's like, "Oh yeah, you're still here."
Yeah, last
There's also
second.
the moment of the xenomorph like peering down at Jonesy, kind of uninterested, I guess.
Yeah,
Interesting.
not enough sustenance.
Yeah, just like nah, not worth it. There's better prey around.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, I love that you start see the flames like shooting out as the ship like
yeah,
gets ready to explode. As she's getting on the ship, like just great tension. Like yeah, she gets on the shuttle with like a minute left, but she still has to like get like
yeah. She has to get
undock
off
and
the
like get
umbilical and
far
stuff. Yeah,
away enough to not get caught up in the explosion. Like just perfectly timed out.
and you're hearing the countdown the whole time
Yeah,
as we have the visuals of like the shuttle leaving, and I love how it's 3 explosions.
yeah, a little much maybe.
I love it.
I was just
It
like,
looks really cool.
I
I
just wrote
love
in
the color
parentheses,
of it.
it really explodes, huh?
Yeah.
Like, it explodes so many times.
It
Yeah,
looks really pretty.
it's
Like
cool. It's
the
cool.
colors of it are so nice. I feel like it's cool. Like the colors feel like they're pointing to the intensity of the heat of the
Yeah,
different parts of the explosion.
yeah. There is sound in space. Apparently, we find out here, despite the famous tagline for this movie.
That no one can hear you scream.
Yeah. But you can hear your ship blow up. We get a nice, and then like I love this for the movie. It's like a horror trope for sure, where you think, oh, it's finally over, we're finally free, and then oh no, it's not over. But I think it's really well executed. I wonder how many people bought that it was over here. I don't think I bought it, right? Like that's it for the alien. You got it? Okay, nice. Um, I love that. Yeah, she's cuddling Jonesy. She gets ready for cryo sleep. Gets down to her whitey tighties. Um,
Yeah, her underwear doesn't look like it fits. It's
yeah,
so she's like sagging her underwear. It's very funny.
yeah, and it's an interesting choice, right? And I was thinking about it because, like, part of me, I'm like, are they sexualizing her too much in
I
this
think it's
scene?
vulnerability is what it
Ye-
represents.
But also part of it was like very casual. Like I like that she's not. It's not like she has like lingerie underneath or something. It's like this looks like some granny panties that she like
It would
had
be
tucked away.
insane if she was working doing that kind of job and she's like takes off her clothes and she's wearing some sort of like fucking shit like that would be fucking funny as fuck.
I know, yeah. So I love that it feels like naturalistic, right? Even if
Yeah.
it maybe is a little exploitive.
And since you mentioned the in space, no one can hear you scream, just want to give credit where credit's due. That was the person who came up with that is Barbara Gips, a copywriter.
Oh, nice one, Barbara. Nailed it. Um,
Yeah, but she's basically getting ready to go.
Yeah.
She puts Jonesy into cryo.
yeah.
She records a little, I think, does she record some sort of like audio
No, I
thing?
think that's after this.
Right. So then like she's getting ready to get into cryo herself and she notices the fucking creature sleeping.
Yeah, I love how it's such a testament to the set design, where it just so seamlessly blends into the rest of the design of the ship, where like
Yeah.
the ship looks alien enough for this thing to just totally blend into it.
Yeah, I
so
thought
good.
I thought that was wild. I also think it's so funny that it's sleeping, but like it's not like it doesn't make sense. It's a biological creature, right? It needs to rest at some point, but it's so fucking funny that it's like it fell asleep on the shuttle.
Yeah, it's a little like too convenient, but like it doesn't need to be anything else here. Like like
Well, there's a moment where I was like, can it not like see like what is its like main sense, right? Like, is it like
Just that within 5 minutes it goes from being on the prowl to like being asleep in the ship and not being able to be
yeah,
disturbed, and it's like in the
it's
perfect
pretty
spot.
fucking silly.
Yeah, it's a little silly, but
But
it's
the
fine. Yeah.
tension of her putting on the suit and doing everything she has to execute without making a sound is, I think, really fun
Oh yeah.
filmmaking.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Yeah.
what I really love here
So
is that
tense.
it's book ended by these two shots of her through the door to the spaceship, to the spacesuit like little closet. Like you see her face looking out at it like in utter horror, like almost looking like, what the fuck am I gonna do? And
Yeah.
then of course she notices the spacesuit, formulates her plan, and once she has the spacesuit fully on again, we have the matching shot where we see her and there's this confidence of like, I know exactly what I need to do to execute and
Yeah.
get rid of this thing.
Yeah, this confidence, but still like so mired in horror. Like she's such a great performance from Sigourney
Yeah,
Weaver, man.
but
It's
like
so
really,
good.
truly, like if you put those two shots next to each other, you see like the subtlety
Yeah.
in like the differences of her facial expression.
Yeah.
Really well acted.
Really
Really well
good.
acted.
I love the little song she's singing. Like she's on the brink of her sanity right now, right? She has
You are
to.
my lucky star. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's
love that it's like a defense mechanism for her. She's like, I'm gonna think that I'm doing something to keep it sleeping by singing it like a little like lullaby type
right,
thing.
and which is tied in the second movie that she has a daughter. So I wonder if that was thought of here, why she would do a lullaby versus something else or not.
Yeah, I wonder. I wonder. That's a good point.
Um.
And I love how frantic and like disjointed the melody she's singing and like the rhythm is like, you are
Mhm.
my lucky star.
Yeah, just the panic of it. Yeah,
You
it's just such a good way to emphasize
are
the. I'm in the. What is the climax of the movie,
my
right? Yeah,
lucky
it's beautiful.
star.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good.
Uh.
And like she'll like not do it for like 5 seconds and then suddenly start doing it again.
Yeah.
It's good. I love it.
Yeah, me too.
And the whole like Rube Goldberg machine is she like, I don't like, is she like she's doing something with the oxygen or something, gas is being shot at the creature that's like fucking it up.
Oh.
And then she opens the hatch.
I thought it was just like stages of it opening, and so it's depressurizing when it's shooting that stuff.
But then like I think she like, cuz she pushes a button to open the doors. I figured it was something like that, like
Like
depressurizing or something with
yeah, so
the atmosphere within the cabin.
right, because otherwise, I think if you don't depressurize it, you'll just like explode or some shit, right?
Yeah, real space heads know all about explosions.
So yeah, I take it as just like that was the first step of opening.
But
the
I love
dock.
how it just like immediately is like fucking freaking out.
Yeah, this is probably if I had one critique of the alien in this movie, this is probably the scene where it just feels a little goofy, where like yeah, the way it flies out and it's just kind of flapping in the wind, well not wind but in the rocket fuel and all of this. I it's fine because it's finally her overcoming it, so it
Yeah.
doesn't need to be as horrifying as it has been. But it does feel like it kind of like takes away from the horror of the creature a little bit in its
I
final
originally
moments.
thought it was gonna like come after her, and she like her shooting it was gonna kind of get it out, and there was gonna be a little bit more of a struggle.
Yeah, I do
But-
like the moment though. It's a really iconic shot of her eye looking up through the side of her helmet, and she sees that it's like crept up next to her while she was looking away momentarily, and it's about to shoot the fucking tongue at her, and then she screams, and that's when she hits it. Like that's a really really good setup.
Yeah, no, it's great. Really, really awesome. Really cool. I do love, even though it's so silly, I kind of love that she's like, I'm gonna harpoon it, then I'm gonna close the door on the harpoon so that it holds the gun in place, so he like will waggle into one of the
Yeah.
thrusters, and then I'll light the thrusters and light them on fire.
Yeah.
Kind of silly, but it looks, it's a fun little Rube Goldberg machine.
Yeah, I
But
think
yeah,
I
I
could,
do think it looks so funny, like just
Yeah.
flapping behind the fucking shuttle.
I think it would have worked to just it's out the door and you have a moment where she's like worried she's gonna get sucked out too, and then it closes and that's the end. I don't think you need the moment of it kind of holding on. Personally.
Yeah, I think then. Yeah, I also kind of like the like lack of finality with it just being out floating there. Like,
Yeah. We don't know if it's dead. Yeah.
yeah. So this movie sucked.
Yeah, and then that's when she does the
She does a little post-mortem.
report. Yeah, she's the last survivor of the Nostromo. And then sleepy time.
The very last shot is of her lying restfully in the little cryopod and like slowly fades away to like the credits.
Yeah. And I kind of like to think of this movie, even though I really like the second one, I do sometimes just like, split up the canon as like this is its own story, and like it is happily ever after for Ripley after this. She doesn't have all these horrors awaiting her in the sequels.
Yeah.
Do you ever do that where you're just kind of like I can hold two canons in my head at the same time?
I don't feel it necessary for this, but that's an interesting take.
Just because it has such a nice
I mean,
finality
I can
to it.
see, I understand where you're coming from, but like one of the things is that there's always the next, I don't know, I guess she just comes to represent this sort of like will to survive in the face of like all that is odd in the world, like, and I like the second one so much. Yeah, I don't know, yeah, but I think that's interesting. I think that's a cool thought. Curious listeners, any of you ever hold two different canons for stories in your head? Perhaps a similar one to what Connor's saying, because it's compelling, right?
Yeah.
Like to think like, yeah, she's happy after this.
Yeah. And I do it all the time with like shows and books, right? Where I'm like, yeah, the book is a lot better than this, or like video game versus show adaptations or whatever. I'm like, they're both their own things. But yeah, that's fucking Alien.
That is Alien.
What a great movie.
It's a good movie. Hot take, good movie.
Hot take, great movie. For tier ranking, this might be the most on the fence I've ever been. Between an S and an A. This movie's so fucking good. Like, it almost feels wrong to give it an A, but like if I'm really listening to my experience with it, there was like parts of it where I'm just so enamored with the perfection of it, and other parts where I'm like, yep, it's a like, horror monster movie. We're waiting for when it gets the next one, but like even those parts are so expertly done. I'm gonna go ahead and give it an A though. I think it's very worthy of an S, and I feel bad about it. If that makes you feel better, dear listener.
I think that this is one of those films that the technical aspects really, really, really carry a lot of weight for my ranking for it.
Yeah, it's so good.
I think that on its on its own and on the merit of like a good story with compelling characters and honestly great performances.
Yeah,
I would say like there's literally that one moment that kind of like falls flat for me from
right with
like
Dallas.
with Dallas. Maybe against some of the like the like jazz hand thing, that's kind of a performance thing, but overall I would say like 95% of the fucking like it's so well acted. It's so well fucking done. So I'm going to go ahead and place it in the S tier as well, thinking about it as, coming out in 1979 and like how much I still
Yeah.
love the way everything looks.
Yeah.
The set design S tier, the fucking cinematography is S tier.
And the
I
world
think
building
the
and lore, I was thinking about that a lot. And I was like, maybe that pushes it over alone. I don't know.
I think the directing is also like S tier. The editing, the sound design, all of these aspects are really like S tier to me. I think the only thing I would like fault it on are things that are just like sort of like products of its time. I feel like for me the pacing is also like way up there. Like it's maybe like something where I admittedly will notice a little bit of like, oh, this is like a little bit of a downswing in action, but I'm able to like to watch that and be like, ooh, like what's now, like, okay, let's gather our thoughts. Where are we going from there? But yeah, S tier, I would say. Great fucking film. Great film. And happy to have discussed it in the context of the category that is Aliens.
Yeah. Yeah, too bad we're not watching Aliens and Aliens.
Well, we'll watch Aliens some other time. But next week we are watching E.T.
Yeah.
Released, Connor was referencing it several times, The Thing, released the same year as The Thing.
Yeah, very cool. Another step in our chronological process of covering aliens.
Yes, this one is definitely going to be much more, I think, dealing with the themes that we're talking about in The Day the Earth Stood Still
Yeah.
than some of this more horrific stuff in Alien.
Yeah, yeah, and like I was saying, I do think this one is kind of the odd man out of the other three we've chosen in terms of dealing with more of spoilers, but like alien encounters on Earth versus like this. It's a great contrast to the other ones where this is humans out of their element in
This is like
another.
very like hard like sci-fi, like
Yeah,
the sets are all so like technologically advanced. Like the other movies are all like set in the time that they were released in, and it's like normal looking people, and there's like one like alien creature they're interfacing with, right?
for the most part. Yeah, I mean, no spoilers for the last one, but it's a little different, but similar.
You're actually giving more spoilers than me because I was trying to keep it to the discussion of 1, 2, and 3.
Oh yes, yeah. Absolutely. In that case, yeah, just the one. Maybe a robot in a diaper. Robot diaper.
Well, listeners, with that, I want to thank you so very much for tuning in to another edition of Cinema Forecast. You know the fucking drill. Like, subscribe, comment, show your friends. Find us on social media. We are Cinema Forecast, Fourcast. It has been a pleasure to develop. It's been a pleasure to deliver some film analysis to y'all today. And it is every fucking week.
Hell yeah, brother. Sure
Yeah.
is.
Fuck yeah. Well, thank you so much, Connor.
Thank you, Alfredo. And I guess we'll see you guys in the forecast.
Cast.